The Tricky Triangle's the next stop for the HTL Cup Series, where Martin Roberg and 36 other drivers will take their time to try to go for it all. Who will walk away the king of the Tricky Triangle here in the heart of the Poconos in Pennsylvania? We'll find out in about 87 laps. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching live coverage of the HTL Cup Series at Pocono live on ABN1. Joe Cortez, Kevin Young in the booth with you, Chrissy Ryan, making everything work on the back end. Kevin, ought to be a fun race. 87 laps where there's no turn four. This is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, it is going to be entertaining. Great to have you back, Joe, as well. Obviously, Kristina was nice enough to join me in the booth last week for the BTL 500, but now here on Pocono, some of these drivers are going to use this momentum, what they learned on the back half of the calendar to try to get it going in the right direction. You had heartbreak, you had tragedy, well, maybe not tragedy, that may be a little bit dramatic for sim racing, but you had heartbreak and glory last week at Charlotte, and now here at Pocono, we're going to see all that same thing. And these drivers are going to have one less corner to deal with, but now we're in the starting qualifying. The first car going on the track right now is going to be the 35 machine of Martin Roberg, and he is going to be the torch setter for the rest of the drivers they're going to have to follow.
Reverse qualifying from last week's finish, so Roberg will be the first one out. Yair Rodriguez in 97 will follow him. David Smeal Jr. now in the 8 machine, replacing the Lady Liberty driver, Callie Height, this week in that car as well. Caleb Eichler will be out as well. Mark Parkhurst in the 21, replacing, and actually that 21 is kind of a journeyman car for Unforgiven Motorsports. So lots of new names on the track tonight, but right now all eyes are on Martin Roberg as he gets ready to take his first and only qualifying lap.
Yeah, this is the very important thing. Roberg was having 2 good weeks previously, but Charlotte kind of the buck stopped there. Involved in, I believe, connection issues early on, and that plagued his run very early. So we'll see him start his run right now. This is going to give you kind of perspective of how fast they go down these straights and how quick you have to get on the brakes heading into one. You almost have to be ready to lock them up and light it up, and if it goes wrong or the brake pedal goes squishy, something disconnects, you're going about 190 into a corner and you're going to hit the outside wall with such force like Bubba Wallace did back in, I believe, 2017. So it's easy for mistakes to happen if you're not careful and planted, but if everything goes right, you can easily run the wall down, run the speed, and put down good times.
Roberg, not a new name to HTL, but the entry is a new name. 35, unaffiliated with any teams out there tonight, I don't believe. So this will be a new entry for Martin Roberg, a new opportunity for him to try to get his name out there, maybe even picked up by a team. We'll find out what he can do as he goes through the turn 3, where I love it, turn 3. It says, what turn 4? As he crosses the start-finish line, this should be his one qualifying lap, turns the time of 53.558.
Good lap for him right now. We'll see if anyone can beat it. Up next, Yair Rodriguez, who's had 2 heartbreaks in a row. First time jumping a start and having finished poorly. Second time running out of fuel in the BTL 500, looking poised to win. Now going to have to put this behind and put a good run. That is going to be P2 for the 97 of Yair Rodriguez. And now we got Caleb Eichler with the Canes helmet. Going to be 3 of 3 cars to cross the line here in succession. We'll see where they can put a time down. And it's going to be a 51.572, good enough for P3. So the cars went out on track in the same order they're currently on the timing and scoring board.
I think another car on track, so should be the 8 of David Smeal Jr. coming out next. Again, Smeal taking the 8 of Callie Height for Lady Liberty Motorsports, a replacement driver this evening. It should be interesting to see what he can bring to the the Cup Series tonight. Other ones riding up, ready to go, are the 21 of Mark Parkhurst in the journeyman car, the 31 of rookie DeMonte Dotson, the 55 of Caleb Carter, and the 4 of Zach Apperson coming back to the Ghost Energy entry for entry out there. He's driving for Tombstone Motorsports.
Yeah, those 3 cars. Again, David Smeal, a truck regular, has won this season in HTL Truck Series. Going to try to keep that momentum going and bled on here, filling in for Callie Height tonight. So it is worth noting as well, obviously with drivers sometimes not being here, sometimes they can make mistakes or whatever, not being able to attend. This is where you can find some drivers in the truck series, some drivers just kind of lurking around like, hey, I need a fill-in driver to get me some points for the owner standings, because they run on a similar point system as the driver standings does, where the top 16 are going to make it in and they're going to have reverse engineering and all that to make it. So it's worth bringing in good drivers. If you can't make it, you want to find a good driver that can fill in. And even with Suzuka next week, we're going to to see some more road course ringers come back and take some of those rides to try to keep the competitiveness in the owner's standings. But right now, to get back on track with the 8 on their qualifying lap, turn 1 looked pretty good, and they're trending in the right direction. We'll see if they got anything for Roberg, who currently sits in P1.
Field now going into turns 2 and 3 through the short chute. The Dead Man Fingers Spice Rub Machine will make his final turn here in just a moment. The short chute off 2 into turn 3. What turn 4? We don't need a turn 4 where we're going straight to the start-finish line with Smeal. He will come up to it, crossing the start-finish line. This time by, his lap will be a 53.843. That'll be good enough to score him in position 4. Behind him, it will be Mark Parkhurst in the 2K24 machine of Drew McIntyre on the hood there, feuding with CM Punk last week at Money in the Bank. 53.347 his time. We have a new pole sitter.
Yeah, we do have a new pole sitter. Here's the Mate Dotson, 31, the rookie, going to try to cross the line. Also had a pretty poor Charlotte last week, trying to trend in the right direction across the line. It's going to be a 53.381, good enough for the front row, but Parker's still on top right now, and Parker's running that paint scheme is going to be careful, has got to be careful, because he's not careful. CM Punk's going to come out and slash his tires, rocking that paint scheme right now, though. So overall, though, Parker's trending right now with his Bass Pro Shot helmet, currently P1, but we still have many cars to go. This is a large field, 30-ish cars, ready to take down qualifying times. With only 6 right now putting down times, a lot can happen as the track conditions change on. Next 3 cars coming on out is going to be the 55 of Caleb Eichler. They're going to be one of the 3 machines. The other machine, oh, Caleb Carter, sorry, I was looking at the next car in line. It's also going to be the 4 of Zachary Apperson, and the 3rd car as well is about the pilot on track as right now. So we'll see what the 55 of Caleb Carter can do as they go through the short chute.
55, an unchartered entry for Stepping Stone Motorsports and Jenner's Ford Mustang GT. We'll see what he's able to do. Zachary Apperson back in the number 4 for Tombstone Motorsports. That car has also been driven by Rudy Valentine, who I believe we will see later on in the field. DJ Trout also on the field for the 93 for Premier Racing Club. So 3 more drivers getting ready to take their qualifying time. Caleb Carter will be the first to cross. No, his first lap is starting now.
You would be correct. This is the first lap for Caleb Carter here on a warm-up lap right now. Well, it was on a warm-up lap, now starting their official lap right now. And you can see, again, pinching that middle of the low groove. You got on the brakes, you want to roll the speed in and keep as much speed as you can, and then get on the throttle as late as you dare. Now coming down the long straight, it's pretty lonesome alone right now, but obviously in a race situation, you're going to have drivers taking runs off corners, and if you back it up just a little bit too much, you're going to be at the prow of a car getting a better run off. One more corner to go for Caleb Carter here. And funny story about turn 3, one of my buddy's friends went and took one of those Richard Petty experiences around this track and didn't know that the wall said what turn 4 on it. So when they were going about 160 looking out the side of the window right there, they looked over and were totally shocked to see that the what turn 4 thing was actually painted on the track and not just a saying. But as Caleb Carter comes across the line, it's going to be P7 for the 55 machine, and that's going to take us on quite nicely. Zachary Apperson coming for the last corner down the straight now.
Zachary Apperson in the number 4 machine will turn in a qualifying time at the start-finish of 53.741. So right now scores him in position number 5, provisionally, of course. And DJ Trout, the last one to take his turn out here. You notice, you say it's a long, kind of lonely stretch right now. I would say Pocono's deceptively long as Trout turns in a time of 53.475, puts him in position 3 right now. 2.5 miles around this 3-turn triangle. 14 degrees in turn 1, 8 degrees in turn 2, 6 degrees in turn 3. So it's deceptive in many ways. It's deceptively long, it's deceptively fast. You can get up to 200 miles per hour on these stretches. And it's also deceptively dangerous because they don't have the high banking that some of the super speedways have. When you think of Daytona, Talladega, same size, this track same size, but the turns and their lack of high banking makes this the tricky triangle.
It is, and obviously it could be the fun fact we see today. If not, but the triple triangle, all 3 corners are modeled after different corners in real life. Turn 1, I believe, is Trenton, was originally out of Funk Trenton. Turn 2 with the banking is modeled after Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then turn 3 is modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. I believe at least 2 of those tracks we've seen obviously been here at Indianapolis earlier in the calendar, and I believe they do go to Milwaukee at least once in one of the series in HTL, not in the Cup Series. So they'll get a little bit of flavor of 2 of those 3. on these next-gen machineries. But right up, we got the 3 cars ready to do their qualifying laps. Now, Richard Odie, and you can see as our producer circles it, going 187, 188, about 190. You can really top it out, heading off the one and then have to lock them brakes up to make sure you hit the corner. This is the problem. If it drifts out a little bit too much, if you get a little bit too gracious, you could end up really mucking up a line and allowing a car to run on by you. But right now, Odie doing the run and doing it successfully. The other 2 cars on track right now, Hunter Peach and Eli Sasek. So we'll have to keep an eye on them as they start their laps.
Eli Sasek and others, Hunter Peach and Richard Odie. Odie will be the first one on there. Will be the first one to take qualifying time in that 78 machine. He's run that all season long. I believe he's also one of the few privateers out here. Chartered entry, rookie for OD3 Racing. One of the few who have a charter in here. I think one of 2 privateers that have a charter. 54.092 is qualifying spot. That will keep him in the top 10 for now. Next one to cross the line will be, I believe, the 9 of Eli Sasek. Sasek, I'm sorry, Josh, 20, it'll be the 20 instead of Hunter Peach.
Yep, it's going to be Hunter Peach, just finished his run right now. He comes across the line, and he will take pole position for the Peach Man. Going to be P1 for him, and now Eli Sasek, last car to go here. He's going to cross the line in the triple trifecta, and he will take P3 for him. So it's going to be Peach, Parker, Sasek, Dotson, your top 4. But as we've gone on and reverse qualifying order favors the cars that were strong last week, you can see the speeds pick up, and Hunter Peach finding good form of late. Won Atlanta, great run at Charlotte, but came undone just a little bit late, and now trying to keep this run going throughout these past couple weeks. Next car's hitting the track as we speak. We got the 33 at Josh Gaiman. He'll be the first of the 3 cars to hit the track. He'll be followed by the 22 of Gary Donaldson and the 00 Pacey Wygant back in that machine after taking last week off and was filled in by Byron Jones, who had his own eventful Charlotte race as he had to claw his way back to the lead lap, and it took at least one crew my checker to do it, but he at least got back on the lead lap before the race was concluded. So all 3 fire off right now, and here's Josh Gaiman as he's got one more corner to go before he starts his flying lap.
A stalwart for Valfreya Motorsports has currently registered 3 HTL Cup Series wins in his campaigns across the track. You know, they're also associated with Liberty Motorsports, so quite a big stable between those 2 groups and a lot of experience, a lot of depth to draw from here. So it wouldn't surprise me if Gaiman is ultimately going to be one of the favorites for this race. Also on track is the 00 of Pacey Wygant and the 22 of Bobby Blowers. So a lot of talent right here as they continue to line up for qualifying 3 at a time at this very, very long track. You watch the 33 of Gaiman now in the short chute going into turn number 3. Great run so far as he gets ready to make that final turn, that Milwaukee mile turn. I believe, or no, this is turn 2. Check that. Is it turn 2?
Yeah, that's
no, it's turn 4. It's turn 3. Turn 4. Turn 3. Whatever turn it is, the tricky triangle's got me all tricked up. Now he's in turn number 3 for his final time trying to turn his 1 qualifying lap. Joshua Gaiman comes out of the Milwaukee mile turn onto the long straightaway where we're going to see cars scrambled, smothered, and covered out there. 53.120. We have a new pole sitter.
Working first guy, that's a great one by Josh Gaiman. If we're not careful, we're going to start by the end of this broadcast. We may think Pocono has 5 turns, being the first oval with 5 corners indeed. Bobby Blowers action, the 22, not Gary Donaldson. Blowers super sub filling in again this week, and he puts down a 53.373, good enough for P5 in that 22 machine. Now Pacey Wygant, one of the drivers that has won so far this season, first one to go that has a win, coming across the line. It's going to be a 53.428 for his troubles, and that's going to be good enough for P7. So interestingly enough, they all kind of fell off a little bit there as the run went on, but Josh Gaiman really found the pace and really made it work. Next 3 cars firing off right now, and to kind of go back to what your point there for a second there was, Joe, is that with the track being so long, it allows control, unlike in usual track situations when they're short, only 2 cars can be on the track at one time on odd ends. With it being so long, 3 cars can kind of go out and still give each other space and leave valuable space so all cars can make it. So first 3 cars here, Jeremy Braille making a new home at Arrowhead Racing obviously filling in that 44 machine permanently. He'll be one of the 3 cars to go out. The other 2 will be the 25 of Blake Henderson and the 12 of Dustin Hall, both having their own heartbreaks last week, with Blake Henderson obviously being one of his greatest tragedies in HTL, and the 12 of Dustin Hall just having connection issues plaguing him after he was leading the first 20 laps. But as Braille comes off the last corner right now, still trying to find his first win after having at least 3 seconds. We'll see what he can do as he's about to start his flying lap.
Jeremy Braille started as an unchartered solo entry to start the year in the 74 for B-Tron Racing. Best finish in the ARCS A Square. I'm sorry, he was a 2022 ARCS A Squared Cup Series champion. So a lot of experience coming into this car that will be occupied for Arrowhead Racing by the end of the year, replacing, I believe, Carmen, Sienna, and the suspended John Hagan out there. So Brielle's got a lot of experience, a lot of opportunity in this car. He's in one of the best equipments out there. We'll see what he can do with that car. Also on the track, the 25 of Braden Proudfoot, another replacement entry here at the last minute. We'll see what he can do on his track. And the 4th one rounding it out, the 12 of Dustin Hall will also take his qualifying time right now.
Honestly, it's great to see a lot of drivers filling in. Obviously, Brandon Proudfoot, strong contender, obviously ran last Sunday night and now back here Monday. A driver that also has a win as well, was obviously thinking about maybe finding a permanent ride here. If he gets another win, definitely a lot of teams will be knocking on his door. Jerry Braille comes across the line, P14, noticeably slow for the number 44, but obviously got some good race pace. They'll probably be willing to improve that during the race. 25 of Proudfoot coming across the line next as well. It's going to be a 53.254 for him. It's going to be good enough for P3. So going to put himself on the 2nd row, but going to be a little bit away from pole position. Next up, the 6-time winner in the HTL Cup Series, Dustin Hall, still winless this year. Going to try to break that tonight. Coming across the line, it's going to be a 53.022 pole position for the 12 machine, and he will take it away from Josh Gaiman. So good run by Dustin Hall. Now just got to make sure his internet connection can stay stable, and he could easily be a driver to watch out for in the main race.
Next one's coming off pit road, the 27 of Selena Thompson for Valfreya Motorsports, followed by the 71 of Lily Peltier Sharp. It looked like earlier she was splitting the car with the other Lily out there, but it does not look like that will be the case after all. Looks like she will continue to run in that car for the rest of the evening. Christopher Pendel, the 94, will be the 3rd one to come out.
Yeah, we'll see what either can do. Selena Thompson obviously was heartbroken after what happened last week, after just drivers wasn't aggressively there, and she ended up getting a piece of it. And obviously, just trying to find a win, trying to make a season happen here. But obviously, you're only as good as your previous race, and she's definitely going to try to make a staple here and try to do something. Other 2 cars, like you were saying, Joe, the 71 of Lily Peltier Sharp and the 94 of Christopher Pendel, all on laps. So as Thompson comes off the last corner here to start her flying lap, trying to fly like the American Airlines that docks the scheme, she goes away, and she's going to fly off into turn 1.
Into turn 1, the 27 American Airlines Menard Chevrolet goes. And again, looking for she's had some strong wins. We've seen her top 5, we've seen her top 10, and we've seen her compete when the race is on the line. The problem is she's just been quagmired in a lot of bad traffic, a lot of bad situations, and unfortunately that has just hurt her opportunities. But it would not surprise me if the 27 Selena Thompson walks away with a win before the end of this HTL season. Through turn number 2 now, into the short chute, and almost hits the wall coming off of turn number 2. Those turns again being very deceptive, very tricky out there, as they don't have the same banking as you would expect going 200 miles per hour down the stretch. The 27 gets a little wiggly coming off of turn number 3 back to the front stretch. Selena Thompson will turn in a time at the start finish line of 53.546. That will put her provisionally just outside the top 10.
Next up will be Lily Peltier Sharp as she's coming off the last corner here. And you got to be careful. If you invalidate with no car so far invalidating, that's basically going to start you P31, P32, depending on where you slot in. So you got to be careful not to hit the wall. Good lap, though, by Sharp. 53.328. You're going to join the teammate up in the top half there. And next up, Christopher Pendel, last of the 3 cars to come across the line. Where can Pendel slot it? It's going to be 15th, 53.615. So again, unlike we saw last week where the track conditions really hurt drivers like Joshua Sosi, Byron Jones, some other ones that just went out at the wrong time because of the change in track conditions, with it being a heavy cloud cover and the temperature really not changing all that much, You're seeing drivers, it really just comes down to pure performance rather than sometimes the luck of the draw these qualifying sessions can become. 3 cars coming on the track now. It's going to be the 11 of Casey Ellis. They will be flanked by the 50 of Lilac Zier, who got a podium last night in the A² Cup Series. And the last car will be the 2 machine of Josh Arnold. So they'll be the next 3 to hit the track.
Casey Ellis, another permanent replacement for Arrowhead Racing. The 11 earlier this year, driven by rookie Lily Frazier. Casey Ellis will now take the reins of the Ghost Energy 11 Toyota Camry on track. The 50 of Lilac Zier, another driver who's had great performance all season long and is looking to keep the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver or car in contention. She's had 1 podium position here this season and looking for some more after that. Josh Arnold, of course, the two machine, also in contention a lot of times this season. The 2 driving for Coast to Coast Racing. Good to see them out there. Good to see what they can do as the 11 now 11 gets ready to cross the line here. The 11, I believe now, coming out of turn number 2 into the short chute to hit turn number 3 in just a moment. There we go. Turn number 3. Oh, no, that's turn number 2. I'm sorry. Turn number 2 now into the short chute, looking everywhere but at the lead qualifier in this group. My apologies. That was a week off to do here. Now into turn number 3. Coming to the start-finish line, Casey Ellis in the 11 Ghost Energy Toyota sees the green lights at the end of the corner, sees the Geico restart zone. She will cross the line with a time of 53.886. That will put her outside of the top, at the bottom of the top 20, actually, as 2 other drivers get ready to cross the line.
Yeah, it's going to be the 50 Lilac Zier up next. And obviously, we're going to whip you back into shape, Joe, to keep you up on your toes here. As Zier comes across the line, it's going to be a 53.413, good enough for P10 for the 50 machine for Stepping Stone. And lastly, for the 2 for Coast to Coast, as they come off the last corner here, we'll see if they got the mad dash for glory to take pole position away from Dustin Hall. Cross the line. Not going to be a pole run, 53.421. We're going to slot just behind Lilac Zier in P11 for the Pizza and Wings podcast machine. Next 3 cars coming out right now as we speak. It's going to be the 64 William Britton. A little bit of a late call for him. He won a stage last week by playing a fuel mileage to a great plasticity to do it. And he obviously is going to hold on that stage with pride. Other 2 cars going to hit the track are going to be the 99 of Flores and the 29 machine of Alfred Denny. So they'll be the next 3 cars hit the track here. And William Britton, not a strong qualifier, not trying to slander him, but he's definitely someone that is willing to throw strategy and do things to try to get positions when the chips are down. And with Pocono, in real life, being a track that is fuel mileagey, it's a track where you got to really make sure you can make it work. We'll see what Britton has in his bag of tricks during the main race. Right now, about to hit the last corner here, and he is going to come out to start his flying lap. So we'll see what the 64, the privateer, can do.
Drivers say that when tracks like this, drivers usually say they have to run this race in reverse. So what do we mean by that? What do they mean by that? When you run a race in reverse, you're not counting down how many laps you can run. You're counting down how many laps of fuel do I need to get to the end of the stage, how many laps of fuel do I need to get to my next stop, and how many laps of fuel do I need to ultimately win this race. The goal is to have enough fuel on board so you can make that last run and try to outlast your competitors who aren't doing the math on the field. If you can do that, if you're able to make that work, you have a great opportunity to take some names and pick up some wins out there. William Britton did that very well last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 500. We'll see if he can do it again this week at another track that loves to run on fuel. Through turn number 2 now into the short chute before he gets crossed over to turn number 3. Due down the straightaway into the restart zone. William Britton turns in a time of 53.605. That will barely hang on into the top 20. 3 more drivers getting ready as 2 more get ready to turn in their lap times.
Yep, it's going to be the 99 Ascent Racing Elias Flores coming across the line, 53.914. Will be one of the slower laps we've seen today, but definitely got some race pace in that number 99 machine. And the last of the 3 machines is going to be Alfred Denny in the 29 Budweiser scheme. Has run that scheme the past couple weeks, hoping it brings some luck with the patriotic July in front of us, and it's only going to be good enough for P25. So with Denny and Flores running pretty slow laps there, it does make me wonder, with some of the sun kind of peeking through, are we in a situation where this track could be under risk of falling off here and making it harder for the drivers now coming out to put down times? Speaking of those drivers about to complete their laps, we got 3 to note of. It's going to be the 19 of Elias, not 19 of Elias Flores, it's going to be the 19 machine of Byron Jones, it's going to be the 18 machine, and it's going to be the other number, the 91 of Austin Mongold. So they'll be the next 3 cars hit the track right now. And like I was kind of talking about last week with Byron Jones and his very long task to get back on the lead lap, is hoping to at least stay on the lead lap for more than 10 laps and be able to be competitive throughout the whole 200 miles we have ahead of us.
As I often say in these situations, in order to finish first you must finish. Byron Jones taking the car that's normally driven by Blowers for NFG Motorsports, previously by DJ Anderson as well. So another journeyman car, Byron Jones, coming to the start-finish line to take his first and only qualifying lap. Will be entertaining to see what he's able to do out there. Other drivers on the track, 91 of Austin Mongold, the Ascent Racing driver. A lot of guys having fun with Austin Mongold before he took the track. One of them saying, as we all know, Austin Mongold's love for Dr. Pepper. One saying, I'm going to drink a Mr. Pibb before qualifying. Another saying he's going to have a Dr. Thunder. I think they're picking up on Austin Mongold. His pre-race tradition of having a nice, cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper is contributing to his success. And it looks like some of the other drivers want to try to pick up on that as well.
You gotta be careful at the very least. You tell someone what your favorite thing is, they'll always try to get on your skin a little bit by imitating and maybe trying to do other parodies to make it happen. Obviously, we've seen Pepsi products, Coke products, energy drink sponsors, all that. But Mongold, if he does get a victory lane, you know it's going to be full of Dr. Pepper when he gets there. 19 of Byron Jones, though, finishing his lap. It's going to be a 10th run there, and it's going to be a 53.507 for his troubles. Austin Mongold now the next of the 3 cars to come across the line here, and we'll see what exactly he can slot his machine in. It's going to be a 53.737 P20 for the Dr. Pepper man. Going to need a good race pace for him. Last of the 3 cars in the M&M machine, which this scheme has definitely had some good luck around Pocono. As he comes across the line, it's going to be a, waiting for the board to update, 53.345 P6 for the Arrowhead Racing machine of Shad Swadsworth.
Next group to come out for qualifying, 3 groups left. Gene Clavette will lead them out in the number 90 machine. The last driver, I believe, for Premier Racing Club to take a time tonight. Zachary Meredith in his 17, also scheduled to take his first lap, only lap this time by. Not sure, 17 for Coast to Coast Racing for Zachary Meredith. And then the 96 of Tommy Reynolds, the last driver for Arrowhead Racing in the PNC machine, will come off this time with our qualifying lap. Chad Swadsworth slowing it down now as we get ready to see Dean Clavette, what he can do in the Snap-on machine.
Clavette had some good runs the past couple weeks. No, I can say that about a lot of drivers, but they really have had good performances with it being a land that's above the tracks. I know it may be a bit of a cliche statement, but Clavette has been consistently kind of sneaky in the point standings. Right now, sitting P11, just above the cut line by at least, doing the math for fast, 24 points. So he's really been doing good performance here. Maybe not lighting up the timing and scoring boards with good pole positions or even top 5 runs, but sometimes you just got to be just consistent, putting down good runs, putting in good points, and slowly chipping your way into the playoffs, as you always see that Ryan Newman-esque driver that is always there and always competitive, especially when the playoffs roll around. You would not expect anything different from a champion of HTL, at least in the truck series, for the Canadian man, or at least what Blake Henderson would say, Canadian Zero, if you would ask him. But as Clavette is coming through the short suit here out of corner 2, he'll have one more corner to go here as he takes the long shoot down. It's looking like it's trending in the right direction, at least for a top 10 run. He's going to have to really be on the throttle, though, if he wants to make this a pole position. So as he comes to the last corner here, going to have the mad run down the long straight. Where can the number 90 slot his machine? We'll find out in about 5 seconds here. Comes across the line, and it's going to be a 53.336, good enough for P6 for the number 90.
Looking back on the 96, I believe the 96 crashed out on his lap. So, yep, he did actually. He looks like coming off of turn number 1, hit the wall, and then ended up banking into the inside wall. So Tommy Reynolds unable to turn in a qualifying time tonight, you will start towards the end of the back with 4 other drivers who will start back there as well. Now taking the qualifying mantle will be the 3 of Caitlin Height, one of the 2 heights that are normally on track. The 3 will remain out there. The 81 of Josh Susie in that very familiar Hello Kitty paint scheme, and the 57 of Bianca Consano will start. It will be the next one to take qualifying, and we should be just about done qualifying after that.
Yeah, we pretty much almost done here. I think we got, obviously, Tommy Withers joined late, so he will not do a lap, and Kevin Gibney, it looks like he will also not do a lap as well. So this will be the last 3 procession here to put down a time. And kind of just say one quick thing about Tommy Reynolds as well, as we saw him kind of have his incident here. I know at least Carmen is happy that as a team president of Arrowhead Racing, they're happy that PNC Bank scheme is at least on the machine, even though it's got pretty much a missed lap number that we may see in a second. So anyway, the 3, though, rocking the Williams paint scheme, came in second last week, but still drove great for Lady Liberty, and it's been a good partnership between her and Sosi locking out that front row. So as they come across the line now to start their flying lap, see what that 3 can do, and maybe they can get towards the front, maybe even put it on pole.
Caitlin Height in the number 3 machine, one of the 4 drivers for Lady Liberty Motorsports in that car. A lot of great teamwork this season between Lady Liberty and Valfreya Motorsports. You can see the teamwork working together there, the drivers working together there, and sharing data in order to start taking away some wins and some qualifyings. So it wouldn't surprise me if once again tonight we see a little bit of that. We see those teams work together and ultimately try to make their way up front. Into turn number 3 now, as we get ready to close out qualifying this time by. We will... Yep, turn number 3 now onto the front stretch. I never get these turns right. Caitlin Height will dive all the way down to the bottom of the track, turn in a time of 53.371. That's just outside the top 10. 2 other drivers coming to the line this time around will be the 57 of Constantino, and Stussy gets sideways. Stussy gets locked down on pit road and gets sideways. That will invalidate his lap, and the 57 of Constantino stays on track now into turn number 4. Crazy to see what happened there to Josh Susie, always a perennial favorite to go up front. Constantino, however, will turn any time at 53.255. That puts her in position number 4. Not taking qualifying time will be Jeremy Brault and Tommy Withers and William Britton. I'm sorry, no, Josh Susie, Tommy Withers, Tommy Reynolds, and Kevin Gibney, all not taking time. 4 drivers sent to the back to the end of the longest line to start the race: the 55, the 33, the 71, and the 57.
Quickly answer what happened to Sosi. I checked back on the replay. He hit the wall coming into two, I should say, trying to arc the corner there. So obviously just having a little fun with the spin there. So that lap was most likely not going to count even if he kept it straight. But still, very odd form for Sosi not to be able to put down a lap. But Dustin Hall is our pole sitter, and he is going to lean the field to green flag here. So qualifying is now officially done. It's going to be a Hall, Game, and Meredith, your top 3, as we are going to move on to the warm-up.
Getting ready to shake out all the demons, shake everything out here on the track. Last chance to get the cars doing what you want to do before we go 87 laps around Pocono Raceway and what looks to be a cloudy evening. If we can get the weather report, we can give you an idea of what exactly to expect here tonight. National Weather Service says 65 degrees, no humidity, overcast, with winds coming out of the north at 10 miles per hour, which is going to make this a very, very interesting race. It's going to mean the track a little grippy, but we'll definitely get slick as time goes on. While that rubber they put down, it's got to go somewhere. And it's going to almost create like an icy surface for some of these drivers, especially in these turns that don't have a lot of banking.
Turn with that, you got to make sure you run 2 groups. One group, because if everyone kind of stays single file, that rubber, like you said, Joe, will go somewhere, and it will make it even more hard to pass. So drivers are going to have to kind of be willing to maybe get out, do different lines, make adjustments, to really make sure the rubber can kind of dissipate around in the areas where no one's going to go. But obviously, if you muck up turn 1 and go even deeper, you're basically going to be on an ice rink by the time if you don't hit the wall. We're focusing right now on 19 as he's hitting the last couple corners here. Again, most drivers use this as an opportunity to practice pit road entry and exit. Pocono, obviously not the most tricky pit road, but you got to make sure you don't block it up and you do not want to speed. Other drivers use this time for warm-up to get some drinks, use the bathroom, and most are going to use this as last-minute race practice, because this is the last chance you get before all the mulligans are off, and you got to make sure you keep your car safe and clean if you want to be contending at the end of this race.
Pocono Raceway, no stranger to all kinds of different racing. Currently running all three major NASCAR touring tracks and the ARCA Menard Series. But previous visitors to the track include the IndyCar Series, the IMSA GT Championship, AMA Superbike, USAC IndyCar, and others. So this track has seen a lot of action over the years. It's developed its reputation as a tricky triangle for a reason, and this track is always a lot of fun, always fascinating to see what these drivers do and how they react to not having a turn four out there and going super speedway speeds with no banking in the turns.
This track is fun and a lot of machinery. A lot of series do come here. Obviously, some in the past, some don't go here now. But in iRacing sense, a lot of cars have some good racing around this track and provide some fun encounters. So it's definitely something, if you see it at least on maybe a hosted or a fixed, and you may be like, I don't know if I feel confident in that machine, it's definitely worth giving it a try and having some fun at the very least. So right now you can see Pendel trying to make a move on the 19. That's something else you're going to see. Again, I was talking about a bit in qualifying. You see it here. We'll probably even bring it up during the race. If you make a mistake in a corner with some of the braking, you run a missed line, it's about momentum. It's about building things. And it turn can leave you susceptible from getting past. You'll see coming into corner 3 right now here. Let's say Pendel went a little bit wider, missed up his line. That's going to allow the 19 to kind of close on in and use the slipstream to make a drag. But in turn, if you can get your exits perfectly and keep kind of a similar gap, you can kind of just hold station and make it so it's hard to get past.
This is a very difficult track to pass at, not only because of the varying turns, but also the varying length in each of the stretches. No part of this track is the same exact length. You go from the long straightaway up front to the middle-sized chute off turn number 1, and then the short chute between 2 and 3. So you really have to be careful where you want to set up your passes, how you want to set up those passes. I expect a lot of these drivers to make the front stretch, try to work on the front stretch and try to make it work around the longer chute between turns 1 and 2. So glad to have you here with us tonight. Joe Cortez, Kevin Young, Kristina Ryan on the buttons, making everything work on the ones and twos, if you will. So glad to have you here tonight for 87 laps of racing at Pocono Raceway. 37 drivers will take the call tonight. Only one can walk away the winner.
And some looking for their first win, punch their tickets into the playoffs. Others looking to add multiple wins to the docket. Even few looking to get the 3rd win of the year, which is not a feat it's easy to do in HTL. When you look at some of the record books and how a lot of these drivers have 2, 3, 4 wins, it can be very tough to make multiple wins in a season. But going into it tonight, only driver that can add a 3rd win would be Josh Rasosi, who has won 2 times. Everyone else is in the 1-win club if they've won so far. Trying to add a 2nd, though, would be something you could say, hey, when the playoffs start in about 8 weeks, definitely a contender to make the Final Four. But with about 15 seconds to go right now, it's still a very cloudy track. Dustin Hall taking it all in from his pit lane as he is going to be the pole sitter, as he's right now 13th in the warm-up. But that doesn't matter. He'll be starting towards the front, starting at pole position, and he'll have to get the jitters out and lead the field to green, which is about to be right in a couple seconds here.
Still plenty of racing to come for the HTL Cup Series. Next week, we will be in Japan on the Suzuka Circuit East course for the HTL Japan 200, followed by the Michigan 400 at Michigan International Super Speedway. Rockingham will take place August 5th. August 12th, we'll be back in Daytona for the Daytona International Speedway, the last race before we go to the playoffs is a Firecracker 400 at Daytona. We'll take a break for the All-Star race, and then the playoffs begin in earnest. Darlington, Atlanta, Kentucky, Watkins Glen, Chicago, Bristol, and it all ends at Auto Club Speedway on October 14th. You can catch all the races right here on ABN1. Qualifying and final practice are over. We are about to get them lined up and get ready to go. 87 laps around Pocono Raceway. Well, we'll get you all the information on stages, on pit windows, and everything else here in just a moment as we get ready to say, let's go racing in the heart of the Poconos in Pennsylvania. We'll get ready here for starting lineup in a moment, but first, let's go ahead and take you down the order of events tonight for this race. We'll have the changes for the stops for the stages and whatnot as they start getting ready to roll off here. If we could have that stage information. There we go. 3 stages tonight, breaks at lap 15 and 40. 6 sets of tires available to all of these teams out here. 21 and 23 laps of fuel available, so expect plenty of pit stops tonight with these 12-gallon fuel cells and 55-mile-per-hour pit lane speed when they have to go down. So they'll be backing off for about 150, 160, down to 55 when it comes time to go down pit road. And it will be a shock to them as you see them starting to roll out. 2 parade laps. Let's go ahead and take you down our starting lineup for tonight's race at Pocono Raceway. The Pocono 250 here on ABN1. Dustin Hall, Joshua Gaiman will start row number 1 into 12 and 33. Dustin Hall drinking a time 53.021 seconds, just edging out Gaiman. Zachary Meredith of the 17 will start the inside of row number 2. Bianca Consano in position number 4 on the outside. Row number 3 belongs to the Peach Man, Hunter Peach, in position number 5 and 20th. Outside of him, the journeyman, Brandon Proudfoot, will start in the 25 for the Freya Motorsports. Julie Peltier Sharp will start inside row number 4 on the outside. Dean Clevette in 8th.
As we move down the line here, row 5 is going to be Shad Swathford for Arrowhead Racing and Mark Parkhurst in number 21. They'll make up row number 5. Row 6 will be Eli Sasick and Caitlin Height. Nice row there in row number 6. Row 7, Bobby Super Sub Flowers and DeMonte Dodson will make up row number 7. Row 8 will be Byron Jones and Lilac Zier. 2 good strong competitors. Keep an eye out on that row. Josh Arnold and Casey Wygett will make up row 9. Casey Wygett back in the car after missing last week. DJ Trout and Selena Thompson will be in row 10. Trout coming off a road course win at Canada in the trucks, looking to make that momentum and keep it going forward. Row 11, Martin Roberg and Yahir Rodriguez. Rodriguez looking to avoid heartbreak. They'll be in row 11. Row 12, William Britton and Christopher Pendell will slot in that row. Row 13, Austin Mongold and Zachary Apson, 2 drink sponsors, will be in row 13. Row 14, Caleb Eichler and David Steele Jr., a truck regular, will make up row 14. Row 15 will be Jeremy Braille and Casey Ellis, a lockout for Arrowhead, but not in a good way. They'll be in row 15. Row 16, Elias Flores and Alfred Denny. They'll make up row 16. In row 17, Richard Odie, the privateer, along with Caleb Carter. They'll be in row 17. And last up will be Joshua Sosi and Tommy Reynolds in row 18. And when I said it was last up, I lied. We got one more. Tommy Withers and Kevin Gibney Jr. rounding out the 38-car field. And while we got maybe another 30 seconds before we go to the green flag here, Joe, who do you think's got the best chance to win here tonight?
Lots of strong drivers who have a lot of experience on the super speedways. I'm going to say look up front for drivers like who we got up here? Who do we got out here? We got Dustin Hall's going to be very strong tonight, but Bianca Consano is also going to be a strong contender in that car. Shad Swatsworth, Caitlin Height, also great contenders. Don't count them out. Plenty of experience on super speedways and plenty of opportunities to win tonight. Who do you got, Kevin?
I'll do it quickly. I'll throw a bit of an underdog story here. I'm thinking Dean Clavett's got a chance, and I don't think you can count out the journeyman of Brandon Proudfoot. Won once this season. If he wins twice, drivers will definitely be knocking on his door to try to get him into a ride before the season ends.
Dustin Hall, Brandon Proudfoot will start the race as they come into the restart zone. Green flag flies. We are racing live at Pocono. It is time to go racing here in the heart of the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania.
As we hit the start of lap number 1, now on to lap number 2, it's going to be Dustin Hall leading the way with Proudfoot, Meredith, Clavitt, and Peach, your top 5. As the rest of the cars begin file in on here. Now the question is, first lap in the books, no one went the wrong way around. A little bit of ways away before we get to the stage. How aggressive you're going to be here is up to the driver's contention, as you do not want to burn up the tires here. You can already see one of those cars just a little bit further back, just outside that top 10 right now, trying to make moves and trying to go side by side, as Wygent was under attack by the number 97 machine.
Developing story for the 21 machine. Mark Parker's currently having some electrical issues out there, has disappeared, was trailing backwards, now has disappeared. We'll see if he can come back out on the track. Meanwhile, Dustin Hall continues to lead up front. Proudfoot second, Meredith third, Levette, Hunter Beach rounding out your top five. And it looks like the first battle is going to be between 00 of Casey Wygent and the 97 of Yahir Rodriguez. Rodriguez will fall back in line now, as everybody preferring to take a conservative round around this track. By Blowers, Crystal Pendel will do a little bit of business out there, but Pendel has the advantage down low.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out, but it's about running your lines, making it happen. 97 going from high to low. One thing at the very least, having a teammate can definitely play out some lines, and you know where they're going to run, how they're going to run, and you can use that to your advantage. 00, a driver that's willing to be on the attack and be on the attack quickly. Yeah, I hear though, holding off challenges, trying to go from high to low here, and drifting that quick, getting that early. You don't want to scrape, but the orange and black machine with the Aero sponsors looking to try to make a low move on Wygent. We'll see if they can keep this run off the corner here, but 00 is going to get that toe from the 9 machine, and 97 is going to have to slot back up. It just shows you how tricky it can be to make a move stick if you can't get a good run. You can see another move right there as the 27 of Selena Thompson is under pressure as well from the 19.
It looked like the 9 of Sassy was trying to give a hand to the 97 there, his teammate at Arrowhead at Ascent Racing. Both those drivers trying to get together and see if they can hook up and start charging towards the front. No dice that time, but that could still be something they both have in mind, as Vi Blowers considers trying to make a move now on that 97 machine of Rodriguez. Not going to happen this time. Vi Rodriguez slams the door shut, and that is going to open the door now for Christopher Pendel, who just got by Selena Thompson, and business is starting to pick up here at the track.
It is. One thing we saw while we were watching the live shot there, Dustin Hall almost hit the wall. They had to see how quick he had to go down there. So right now with cold tires and everything else, you got to be careful. Make sure you don't plow it and don't mow down the wall, because the difference between hitting a wall going about 60, going 180, that can really bend the suspension, damage a toe length, make something happen. As we're watching right now in P3, with Zachary Meredith knocking out the USA colors and the Air Force sponsorships, having a little bit of a peek, thinking about making a move on the number 25, now currently occupied by Brandon Proudfoot. It's a little bit of coast-to-coast versus Unforgiven, Tombstone Motorsports, I should say, battle here for second. But Meredith just kind of being calm, being patient, knowing that if he force something, it could lead to both their doom and gloom.
Everyone else running head to toe, front to back on this track. No, again, everybody being very conservative to start. They know they can't do anything crazy right now. Anything that compromise their car would definitely create a problem and potentially put them out of the race. Dustin Hall continues to lead. Right now, his lead will extend to about 0.7 of a second, almost a second, on Zachary Meredith. They're letting him run away, but I've also got a feeling they're letting him run away. They're not in a hurry to challenge him. They're going to see how much of his tires he burns off, and if they can get him later on the run.
And in turn, with you possibly being concerned later on this run, obviously first stage, it doesn't really matter, but running that aggressive, you're not going to get that slipstream, you're not going to get that toe and be able to save that little extra gas that could play a factor. So right now, there's no reason to really fret. Let him run his run, let him run his race, maybe challenge when the stage comes in, but let him try to burn the stuff, make moves, do something, and put him in a spot where he may have to press more than he wants to keep that gap. Right now, riding aboard here with Caitlin Height in the 3 machine, currently sitting in 6. Trying to find around Hunter Beach here, getting at least a run here. We'll see if that 3 can get that roll off. Gonna go ahead and almost clip the wall there. That's gonna hamper the exit, so I don't think the 3's gonna be able to send something off into 1 here, but keeping an eye on the speeds, you'll see in tow, we saw them going about 188, 189 down the straight, now hitting well over 194, topping out before they have to break.
194, the top speed we saw from that group of drivers, had to break it all the way down to 164 as they have to hit the brakes hard to make that first turn, the first of the returns here, and the highest bank of all of them. Clavette still leads that group, Hunter Beach in the middle, Caitlin Height trying to do something, trying to get around, but I think she's going to have to try to set it up once again, make her move in turn number 1. She had Swatsworth now moves up to position number 7. Monte Dotson, the rookie, at 8th. Eli Sassick in 9th. And Casey Wychett currently rounds out your top 10.
Wychett's definitely a driver I'm keeping an eye on. He's trying to make things happen. He's in an A-cent sandwich, and he's trying to make something happen, but just not getting those runs off. He feels he is trying to make something on the 9. Then he falls in the clutch to 9-7. He's just holding, but sometimes it's not bad. But when we get to that end of that stage, when those laps tick off, he's got to be wary as he's the last car in on stage points. But one positive, at least you can say for him, is that with that win, stage points aren't really as important for some of the drivers like in comparison, like the 97 to Yah here and the 9 to Sassick. You never know, 1 or 2 extra points could come crucial when we get to that cut race at Daytona. But right now, Wychett's still holding it down in 10th, but just trying to do what he can do. So now we pivot up to Dustin Hall here, as that gap is consistently staying 7/10, but Proudfoot is keeping him honest.
Austin Mongold had a major problem going down the front straightaway the last lap. He looks like he almost lost it going off of turn number 3 onto the front stretch, able to save it. More importantly, able to save his Dr. Pepper. But the problem is that's going to cost him a lot of points. Now coming back on the front stretch, he's all the way back in 28th position. Not a great look, but hey, the Dr. Pepper's still good, so you got to give him credit for that. Battles up front, battles all over the track. Let's start with a 3 in the 20.
Yeah, right now Hunter Peach went way wide in the corner X. You can see almost up into the marbles right there, and that's left him vulnerable for attack here. And that's why being patient pays off. The 3 had a chance. Now Swatch was like, all right, if you can't get it done, I'm going to make the counterattack. Same thing with Dodson, was trying to make a move on that 18, but it didn't really work to a spay, and now under pressure to lose 2 spots. So it's about picking and choosing your spots, and if you pull out the wrong time, you could really be in a world for hurt. A little bit further back here, the 22 and the 27 fighting for just outside the top 10. I believe this is 13th, if I'm not mistaken. It is 13th as they're holding on. But one car in the pit lane, DeMonte Dodson pitting in very early here.
Yeah, DeMonte Dodson playing the game in reverse. He must have had a talk with his crew chief about how much fuel do we need, when do we want to come down, make our pit stops, and how do we want to manage this track. So DeMonte Dodson, first one to throw his hand out the window, look for 4 tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco racing fuel. Dodson overshoots the pit there, right there, and yes, it will be a 4-tire stop for DeMonte Dodson. Assuming the right sides go or left sides go up, yes they will. So 4 tires, full tank of fuel for Dodson. He'll be the first one to go down pit road. Loses the top 10 position, but again, I think he's trying to play checker. He's trying to play chess. Everyone's playing checkers.
With Pocono being so long, the chance of going a lap down, especially being in that top 10, isn't high. They are already out of the pit lane. They will merge ahead. Now with those fresh tires, they should be able to pull away without going a risk of a lap down. The only question I really ponder is when we looked over those notes about fuel tank and fuel window, the range is about 21 to 23 laps, and with the stage ending at 15, this is clearly a, hey, I'm going to pit now, get the track position for stage 2, try to get what Dustin Hall's doing, and run that extra distance, and then maybe try to hang on with that extra fuel. But it's an odd call. I don't hate it, as Hunter Peach is slow here, letting multiple cars go here. Something's happened to that 20.
20 maybe the next one to come down pit road. We'll see. He might be just biding his time, knowing that he doesn't want to get ahead of all that traffic. Does not want that traffic to hinder his pit stop. Let's watch now as he goes into turn number 2, trying to get around turn number 2, I should say. He may be just trying to avoid some of that contact. Nope, he's in turn number 3, and Hunter Peach will not go down pit road this time. So not sure exactly what Peach is doing there. He goes from 6th to 10th. It might be a defensive move. He might be like, look, these guys are getting a little squirrely. They're having a little fun up front. I need to preserve my car, so I'm going to drop back and watch them see what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to know. I'm kind of going back on the replay here just to see maybe if something occurred. Did he get loose? I'm keeping an eye on that right now because he was running fine, but I think you may be correct on that point, Joe. Having that win doesn't have to be as aggressive for stage points and maybe like, look, no fast repairs in this series. I got to be careful and keep the car clean. We're circling the lap times right there, and you can see that 25 is running a lot faster than that 12. That time by, it was a 53.61 for Hall, a 53.42 for Proudfoot. Proudfoot cut 2/10 into that gap, and with 3 to go in the stage after this lap, Proudfoot's definitely going to make this a race between the two of them for stage points and who will win the stage.
Mark Parker's the first driver to pull it behind the wall. So the 21 entry that belongs to, I believe, yes, Unforgiven Motorsports. They will go ahead and call it a night as we now have another taker down pit road. I believe this is going to be the 91. Yes, Austin Mongold will be the second one to come down pit road.
Mongold's got to be careful here as he was further back at the time of the incident. He just missed his box as well, showing the tricky of getting on the brakes here. But there's a risk. Dotson was in a top 10 spot and is maybe about, checking my numbers here, give or take about 5-ish seconds, 6 seconds ahead of Dustin Hall at this time. Mongold still hasn't left his box yet. Dotson now coming off of turn 3. Here's Hall and the leaders here, as you can see the 25 at Proudfoot trying to close in that gap. But there's a good chance that 91 will go a lap down here. Will be the only car that will be one down, but there's any strategy to try to gain track position, it could come to bite him in the rear, as you'll see the leaders zoom on by. And now he's going to be a bit of a roadblock here, as he wants to get his lap back in the next 2 laps with those fresh tires. However, Proudfoot and Hall don't want their battle disturbed for what could be the stage win.
I don't think he's looking at that. I think he's looking at trying to be the lucky dog and get his lap back on the next caution flag. Remember, he was the one who had that big wiggle coming off of turn number 3, nearly taking his car out of contention. So we knew he had bad tires. This is more of, I think, a defensive stop for him, knowing, I've already given up stage 1. It's not going to happen for me. Let me just go ahead and get tires. Let me get fuel. Let me reset so I can be in a better position when stage 2 comes. These stages are a little bit weird. At 15 and 30, there will leave plenty of driving in stage number 3. So stage 1 and 2, I think, is more about shaking down the car, getting the car organized and set up, and making it set up for success. And stage 3 is where you're going to see everybody get a little busy out there.
One driver also coming in as well just for the pit lane, and it was Hunter Peach. Your crystal ball was correct, Joe, in the sense predicting that Peach was going to pit. A couple laps later, he's now off the pit lane, though, and he is just ahead of DeMonte Dotson, so he will not go a lap down either, and he would be technically P1 if he stays out after the cycle concludes at the end of the stage. But back up to the lead 2 here, and it's going to be a race between Hall and Proudfoot. Proudfoot inching, closing the gap here, but I don't think it's going to be enough here coming off the last corner. Hall looking poised to send it, but they're wrecking in the back here. It's look end stage. It's Pacey Wygant who is side off the line here. Not seeing any of the cars, though, around him that got damaged. So it looks like it may have been a Seltzman, or maybe he got some tiny bit of help. But Wygant, it's going to be the caution that ends stage 1.
Wygant just got a little bit of traffic out there and a little bit bodied. As you watch the replay here, look at him with the 97 and look at the car in front of him. That's going to block him in a little bit. I believe it's a 90 of Dean Clavette that blocks him in. 00 has nowhere to go. Gets a little shove from the 97, and Wygant will go on a solo spin. A little bit of damage in that car, but I think they can make that work. I think that is manageable. Let's take another look this time from the overhead cam.
Yeah, that 90 went up, just missed the corner. You can see that little hook by the 97, and then the finish off there, the pit maneuver, like a cop taking out a speeding apprehension robber. And you can see right there the move. Right on board with the 97 here. You can see trying to make a move. Desperation for the end of stage to get as many points as he can. There's Clavette, and you can see 3 cars trying to fight over 2 pieces of real estate. And then you can see the finish off hook by the 97. Obviously, Yahir didn't even do it, but that's how aggressive it can be when a stage ends. But like you were saying, to the point, I think that car is going to be fine. It could be easily buffed out and fixed up for that 00. But here is the unofficial results for stage number 1. Hall wins the stage with Proudfoot in 2nd, Zachary Meredith in 3rd, Caitlin Height in 4th, Shad Swathworth in 5th, Eli Sasek in 6th, Dean Clavette in 7th, Yahir Rodriguez in 8th, Bobby Flowers in 9th, Selena Thompson rounding out the top 10 in stage points, and with Pacey Wygant's excursion, it gave Selena Thompson 1 point when she was looking poised to get
Great job. Again, another great job for her to get herself some stage points. Another driver who's always in contention at some way, shape, or form. I think it's only a matter of time before we call Selena Thompson's name in victory lane. Everybody coming down the attention of their crews. Again, pit window between 21, 23 laps, plus or minus. So everyone's going to come to the attention of their crews, get 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. The question is, who's going to come off first? Dustin Hall has the best opportunity as he has the last pit stall.
This is a bit interesting because a few cars stayed out. Was just about to bring this up. Arnold, Eichler, both stayed out, did not pit before the staged end. So very odd call for both of them to stay out. Obviously, Eichler's a little bit further back. 25 spots gain was just inside the top, just outside that. But Josh Arnold was a little bit further up, so Adi didn't elect to come in. Peach and Dotson also stay out because it both came at the stage. Looking at the pit stop, so you can see Hall losing a handful of spots here as some drivers elect to roll the dice and, well, only one of them rolled the dice. The DG Trout took 2 tires. Everyone else took 4, and Hall's virtual crew just couldn't get it done. He is going to be now down 8th after winning stage number 1.
Brandon Proudfoot will come out first, followed by Zachary Meredith, Caitlin Height in third. Dustin Hall goes from first to fourth, and Chad Swatsworth gets out in position number 5. Eli Sassick, Dean Clement, DJ Trout, Tommy Reynolds, Bobby Blowers all round out the top 10 fastest pit stops, as now up front they've shaken it up a little bit. Josh Arnold is in front. This may be a move to try to lead a lap, try to get up front for a little bit, see what it's like before he comes down pit road. Caleb Eichler, I don't believe he came down pit road either, so he's going to be very interesting to see what he does out there. Hunter Peach, DeMonte Dotson both came down pit road early. We know that Peach has more fuel than Dotson, so Dotson on a completely different schedule than everybody else. If it pays off, it's going to pay off big. If it doesn't, it could definitely take what was a good car completely out of the game.
Risk, though, where, again, pit lane being a slightly not long, like being very long and all that, to a point where it's likely to go a lap down isn't high. And with the stage ending at lap 40, knowing that the tank fuel gets you about 21 to 23 laps, you're looking at, when we go green, which you should be going green this time by lap 19, you're looking at about, give or take, 22 laps. So it's going to be close on fuel. And you can see in the pit lane a few extra cars electing to come in and top on off. Byron Jones, Pacey Wygett, Kevin Gibney, Lilacs here, and Yahir Rodriguez all topping off. There's Tommy Withers sitting at the end of pit lane waiting for it to turn green, I assume. But some cars coming in to top off here to try to get that extra fuel just in case some of these cars here can't make, because you know Arnold, Eichler, Dotson, Peach, all likely to make it isn't high. Then you got Proudfoot and the rest close. May have to save a little bit, but these cars coming in now should be at the best chance to make it to the end of the stage.
It'll be very entertaining to see how all of these play out, how everything works out on the track, and who's going to come out ahead when we go back to green flag racing. Josh Arnold currently credited as your leader, Caleb Eichler in second, DeMonte Dotson, Hunter Peach third and fourth, and behind them a whole slew of cars who have newer tires and fuller tanks than these 4 drivers do. Will they get passed up in a hurry, or will they be able to hold their own when we go back to green flag racing into turn 2 for one more time, now crossing into the short chute before we go back to green flag racing? It'll be very entertaining to see what happens when we go racing.
It will be indeed. It's going to be Arnold, Eichler, Dotson, Peach, Meredith, Proudfoot, Height, Hall, Swatsworth, Sassick, and we'll have to see how the strategies all play out for these cars indeed. But coming to the last corner here, we're going to see the pace car get ready to take the lonesome trip down the pit lane. Control is going to be on Josh Arnold, who is going to be on that high side. So as the pace car pulls on off here, just preemptively picking it, now it will pull off. We'll see if Arnold can get a good restart here. Entering the restart zone now, green flag is out, and away we go, and Eichler pulling off very quickly there to the left side.
Eichler getting out of the way. Not sure what his strategy was for staying up front, but they are now 3 wide, 4 wide towards the back. It is Josh Arnold leading the way up front, but back towards the back, 2 wide, 3 wide, and now we got cars spinning. Got 2 cars spinning into the wall. That's going to be, I believe, the 71 and the 33.
Yeah, Josh Gaiman involved and Lily Pelletier Sharp, and that's the risk when you're in the back there. Sometimes chaos can happen, and Sharp obviously not thrilled. I think it's going to be game over for her as she is going to tow. Gaiman, we'll see if that damage is fixable, but obviously the replay will tell all. Taking a look at it, you can see 3 wide by 3 wide as cars are just scrambling, and this is already a recipe for disaster. And 33 gets the 81 in front of the 55, and Gaiman gets right into the 71, and that's a hard hit for the 71. Who's had to tow to pit lane. So I think it's going to be a race done for the 71. Gaiman definitely looking moved as well.
The 81 starts all of this, but there's nowhere to go. There's just nowhere to go for the 33 when the 81 cuts into him. It wasn't intentional, but definitely a hard way to go out. The other drivers looks like getting damage on here, maybe the 4, the 55, the 64, but the 71 definitely out of this race after that front end just flies off after making a hard collision with the wall. So it would not surprise me if Lily Sharp is out of the race.
Yeah, with a toe like that, even when she kind of said in the chat there, the virtual typing chat drops window net, it's usually a sign that it is not looking good. Here's Josh Arnold back to live replay here. He's going to actually get a few extra laps of saving here. Dotson in second. And I'd still kind of like to know why Eichler elected to kind of pull to the side there, maybe avoiding the chaos. But if that's the case, why not pit when you had those extra opportunities there if you were just going to drop to the back anyway? So maybe didn't want to risk it, maybe whatever the reason, maybe trying different strategies, who knows? But Eichler now going to be further back and maybe a bit of a head-scratching decision.
So Josh Arnold will get another opportunity to continue to lead. DeMonte Dotson, after the chaos, moves up to position number 2. Zachary Meredith, 3rd. Hunter Peach stays in 4th. And your pole sitter, Dustin Hall, rounds out your top 5. Not exactly sure if we have any other retirees as a result of that, but we may have a couple cars come down pit road, including the 33, who may need some attention after that car. If nothing else, maybe some new tires. Might have flat spotted a couple of them on that spin cycle he just took.
Yeah, and with tire sets being at a bit of a premium here, you do not want to start burning sets if you're not careful, and you want to make sure you keep your tires to the end of their life. Here's Eichler again, obviously check the replay here. Here's the puff of smoke. And you can see, again, maybe a bit of a good call, but also working themselves into the back of the Hornet's Nest. One of those cars mowing the grass there. Didn't exactly see who it was. It's that one up the road. It's Kevin Gibney. He had to take quite an inversion and got himself some grass in those splitters and other things, but luckily all point in the right direction. Now we ride on board with the one machine.
Right on board with Gibney, you can see just what happens up front and what he has to do to avoid it. Gets sideways, goes left, goes right. Great save to get him out front and get him away from that. It's a great save on his part to keep the car running the right way. Caleb Carter came down pit road, as did Zachary Apperson. Joshua Gaiman still down there. Caleb Eichler down there. Richard Odie all on pit road after that incident.
Odd situation. Byron Jones, interesting kind of situation. He pulled it down the pit lane. He just disconnected, then reconnected just a second ago. So maybe had some connection issues. Maybe had to see if something was connected or not. Coming back in the lobby, probably going to lose one lap though in the encounter. One of the cars just to pull up behind the wall as well is Caleb Eichler. So Eichler done for the day possibly. We'll see if maybe they are pulling a Byron Jones and trying to see if something's maybe connected wrong. Maybe having some dropping issues. Who knows? But right now, Jones was out, now back in. Eichler also out of the race right now as well.
We'll see how many drivers will come back to the green flag here in just a moment. We know at least 2 are down, maybe 3 as a result of that incident. 2 cars involved, but it's going to take out crate damage to 5 of them, as it looks like everyone's getting ready and getting antsy to go back to green flag racing. So when we go back to green flag racing, it will be Josh Arnold back up front in the number 2 car. Has not come down pit road yet, so we'll see when he elects to do that. DeMonte Dotson and Hunter Peach, who are on alternate pit strategy, will restart positions 2 and 4 respectively. The 17, well, we had second Meredith, will start 3rd. Brandon Brownfoot 6th, and Dustin Hall top 5.
This is one of the kind of things that stinks is Byron Jones is now back in the lobby here, so we'll see as 1 lap down. Here's a quick race summary, though. 21 of 87 laps complete, 66 laps to go, 2 cautions, 5 caution laps, 1 lead change. So was the Hall show up front? Obviously, that 1 lead change was obviously Arnold taking it by staying out. Other than that, though, it's been the leaders really dominating. Here's the weather as well, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 humidity, and the wind a very, very gusty in the north, 15, now 14 miles per hour, and a very overcast day here in the Pocono Mountains. Obviously, if this was real life, I'd say rain was on the way, but luckily, in the iRacing simulator, rain can't come on these ovals. So overall, though, it definitely looks like a very iffy day, but you never know. Rain could come in the future, and who knows, we may have virtual rain delays we'll have to cover over.
Or we're just racing the rain. I'm okay with that too.
Maybe for an all-star race.
I mean, you know, with the advancements in technology you're doing, especially with those wet weather tires, it would not surprise me, maybe not in a super speedway like this, but it would not surprise me if an intermediate speedway, like 1.5 miles, we would see more rain weather driving.
I could honestly see that as well. Definitely is a chance somewhere before our sim racing careers are over. Pace car is going to pull on off here. It's going to be on Josh Arnold's control. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch for the 2, even with the older tires. But the battle for second, you can see right now Dotson under pressure from Zachary Meredith, and they're going to be 3 wide, heading off into 1.
Hunter Beach on the high side, Zachary Meredith down low. Demonte Dotson says, I want none of this. He will back out of the fight, go from first to fourth. Gets collected by Proudfoot out there, who's now running on the high side. Great jump by the two of Josh Arnold, but the question is, he cannot lead for much longer. Much longer can he go out there? Hunter Beach now in second, Zachary Meredith third, and Demonte Dotson was getting a push from Proudfoot there for a moment. He may get passed up though, as he's hung out on the dry side, on the high side.
The one positive is if they keep kind of racing like they are right now, Josh Arnold's kind of salivating, because if we get another caution, that's going to make it so the longer we go in this stage, the more likely he can pit and have enough fuel and make things happen. The downside is, though, in turn, the rest of the cars will be more and more comfortable if those cautions breed cautions. Josh Arnold will leave this lap. Bit of a train out front, but you can see in that wide shot, tons of cars still looking to gain spots here as the tire differentials are beginning to show. Like right here, you can see the 22 holding station, but you can see that 44 Braille getting split by Pendel and Sosi, and Bianca Constantinu looking to try to reap it on the high side.
Braille, 3 wide there temporarily. Now he's going to go 3 wide again between the 94 and the 81. He'll be on the low side. The 81 getting aggressive is going to cut across behind the 27, looking for a quick crossover to get in front of Thompson. So as we continue going, Joshua Susi still running, trying to run Selena Thompson up the hill there. Thompson will have no bit of that, as it looks like she's got the advantage going into turn 3.
Josh Arnold is pinning this time by, but I just saw something crazy here while we were covering that. Meredith threw a big block on Justin Hall and almost took Hall out here. So they're almost 4 wide back here. They were 3 wide for second going into the short shoe here, but they all kept it clean. Here, this live battle we're watching right now, though, you can see Braille and Constantino fighting, but with Josh Arnold pitting, that's going to put Dustin Hall back to the race lead here. You can see a few cars getting a little bit antsy back there. Dean Clavitt trying to make a move on Reynolds around the high side. They're just racing hard.
Demonte Dotson, who started on the front row, is now quagmired all the way back to, I believe, 7th position as a 17, getting racy up front. That is going to be Zachary Meredith. Is trying to get around the 20 of Hunter Beach. No dice so far in the second shoe. Let's see what happens in turn number 2 and the short shoe. The 17 still trying to find room. Not going to happen, but look who's up there with him. Is it Brandon Proudfoot? The 25 is now going to be challenging into the front stretch.
Yeah, good challenge there. Puff of smoke. I think Thompson may have just clipped the wall just a tiny bit, but it's not going to play much of a factor here down the long run. Side-by-sides for second here. You can also see Proudfoot trying to reclaim his second position he had at the end of stage number 1. Just got to be methodically patient, ride his line and find it, but if he's a little bit too calm and lackadaisious, it's going to allow Caitlin Height in 5th maybe get on the prowl here. But now, Proudfoot going to maybe try to go low side on Meredith.
Trying to go low on Meredith. We'll see exactly how that plays out for him as Dustin Hall continues to lead. Now everybody's starting to settle down again, start to run single file, and I think, again, everyone's just trying to relax after that caution flag. They're trying to run what they've got, run as best they can, as the next battle now between the 90 of Dean Clavet and the 35 of Martin Roberg. The super sub is going to try to take position away, keep himself in the top 10 for the next stage. Since Wadsworth, though, the M&M's machine for Arrowhead, he maybe play spoiler to that. He's got a good run on the outside.
He does have a good run on the outside. We'll see if he can take it somewhere, as he's getting great opportunities right now. Now side by side with Roberg. Run out the corner. There you can also see Tommy Reynolds, another driver to keep an eye on as well, up 28 spots, as he had one of the few drivers that had invalidated qualifying lap, and really showing the might of that 96, showing why he could be a threat to be a spoiler in the playoffs. Right now, Swansworth going to stick it on the low side here of Clavitt, maybe going to try to get some extra toe from Reynolds. Got to leave the space, though. Don't want to fence the 90. The 90 will keep the spot, at least for now. But that's the risk when you try to make moves, because it leaves you vulnerable for other cars to get and prowl on you.
Prowl or be prowl, that is the name of the game here at Pocono Raceway, as now your top 5, top 6 all running in line. No one really trying to shake the apple cart too much. Tommy Reynolds, the first one who may want to try to make a move on Demonte Dotson. Dotson, though, not going to have it, going to play spoiler out there and continue to block him. First fight's on the track right in the second is round battle for second.
And we got the battle for second right here. Meredith trying to make a move on Peach. And just to quickly fill in, you wonder why Clavitt lost a couple spots there. He saved a tank slapper coming off the last corner. Lost him a couple spots, but keeps him in the race. But if you still watch this battle for second, it is a train. This is what Dustin Hall wants to see, though, is this is leaving him with some breathing room to really not worry all that much and just keep the foot down. But look at that 17. There's actually 25 of Proudfoot. He wants the second position back. He's already got around Meredith, and he is charging and charging. He's going to have a chance here, and he's got a real good opportunity to send it off into one.
Lily Sharp officially done with the race, is disconnected, and that will end her run tonight. Hunter Peach has to know something that the rest of us don't. He is continuing to run incredibly strong, despite the fact he's on a completely different pit strategy than everybody else. He's got less fuel, his tires are a little more worn, and yet he continues to run strong in position number 2, fighting off the advances of Brandon Proudfoot. He may get him, Proudfoot may get him this time by, but I've got a feeling Peach, he's got something up his sleeve he's not showing yet. He's going to play a big card later in this race. If he stays clean, he could be spoiler to everybody out here.
Yeah, he could be spoiler indeed. I just saw something down the front stretch here about a lap ago. 97 in the 44. We have a caution out now, so we'll have to hold that thought on that. I hope we can get a look at this, but it's a 97 in the 44. I'd like to take a look at this going down the front stretch here, because I think we have a bit of a problem that started on the front stretch that later kind of played itself out through the full lap here. So 97 and 44 in the caution, and we'll come off the corner exit here, and you're going to see what I saw here in Braille, firing up the radios here. 97 going low, 44 side by side here, and they're going to touch not once, not twice, but thrice, and 4 times actually. They'll hit each other 5, 6, almost 7 times going off the one, and at that point you know tempers are flaring here, and you got to be careful not to end up in a major wreck.
And in a major wreck, they ended up. Let's go ahead and watch the result of that as a 44 starts to shove the 97 into the wall, going into turn number 1. The playful shoving turns into a much bigger thing as the 97 tries to spin the 44 instead, and the 44 will take the bait, ends up spinning around and hits the 91, and I think it sent Racing the biggest loser in that incident.
Yeah, indeed. It's all 12 taps there from the front to the end there. It was almost kind of not premeditated, but predicted what was going to happen here. And we'll take the same shot here again down the front stretch. And it looks like we're actually going to ride aboard here with the 64 here. So that's a good shot here of what happened just a little bit further back here. Oh, even further back. This is before even the front stretch that happened. This is going on to 3 here, so this was even longer. And tempers just flaring between 2 drivers. And you get these on these bigger road courses where sometimes drivers are willing to throw the blocks when need be.
They weren't throwing blocks, they were throwing punches. Those 2 were throwing haymakers for an entire lap, going back and forth, and that's what started this incident. We're going to see some penalties out of this. The question is it going to be the 97 getting in trouble for instigating? Is it going to be the 44 for retaliating? Or are they both going to get equally punished for their issues out here today? Watching again off the 64, and you just see how it's escalating across the track.
Yeah, and right here you can see the little pinch there at the end. 44 just gets a little loose, and maybe could have saved it, but at that point, you know, he's just like, I'm just going to send it right. We're going to take each other out. It's good that no one else got involved in this, though. No one else got a piece of it. Only the 2 of it. Well, I guess I was proven wrong. Austin Mongo got a piece here. And we're going even farther back here, maybe where there's some more flare-up as well, as we're going to rewind even further here. Remember that 97 had a buffer car to the 94. There you can see Wygent get a little bit squibbled with Braille here. And we're just trying to find out where this started. It's almost an unsolved mysteries case. We're trying to rewind to try to find exactly what caused this whole lap shenanigan.
Looking again, you see there's the first block right there. The 44 throws the 97. 97 goes back and forth trying to get around. I think the 97's like, hey, I'm faster than you, let me go. 44 then brake checks the 97, and the gloves come off. If this were a hockey match, these guys would both be putting 5 minutes in the sin bin. But instead, I think these 2 guys are going to be putting the end of their race. They're going to be putting the end of the race and taking it to the haulers. And maybe fighting there, too.
Yeah, indeed. They're going to definitely fight. You want to keep them away as much as you can. Obviously, 97 was looking for a good bounce-back race here after 2 weeks, and this is not on the path here. Sometimes tempers flare. Sometimes you got to be willing to say, hey, it is what it is. I got to back it down. But both drivers, obviously, in sim racing sometimes have egos, and you're not going to allow the other one to get a better of you. So you can see, again, riding on board with Braille here, going aggressive into the corner, and at this point, again, just one little squeeze, sends it off, and at that point, both are around, and only Mongo gets a piece, which kind of sucks for him, but being in the situation, if you're Christopher Pendell, if you're the 8 in this situation, one of those cars riding around here, this has got to be the most frightening thing, because you know this is on a path of destruction. The question is, are you going to be involved in it or not?
Well, Austin Mongol was certainly involved in it, and that's why I said the ultimate loser was Ascend Racing, because in '97 and his teammate were both involved, were both on that team, and they both got involved as a result. Watch Rodriguez here; he's going to keep sawing that wheel back and forth, trying to get the better of the 44. And the 44 just keeps coming back at him, coming back for more and more, and just keeps fighting with him. The wheels are sawing the hell out of those cars out there, and it just ends up with two guys getting in a slobber knocker.
Yeah, getting in a slobber knocker indeed. As you can see, we'll watch one more time here. As you can see on the corner panel, just trying to do something, and no one giving an inch. And well, if you hear from both drivers, obviously in the HTL Discord and whatever, if they're both going to have their own tales of the story, their own thoughts about what happened, either I'm going to say either driver is in the wrong. Hopefully they can have a bit of retrospective and kind of come to a mutual agreement so they can kind of put it behind them. 97 has pulled behind the wall. Their day is officially done. Braille looks like he will still be continuing though. So at the end of the day, Braille, I guess, is the biggest winner in that encounter between the three of them, even though he's going to have at least a little bit of egg on his face, as we have now officially hit one to go. We are going green this time by.
Dustin Hall will elect to take the low side. Hunter Peach will stay up high. And this is going to be a very entertaining restart, especially with a few more laps left on the stage. We should go to stage break at lap 40. Can the 20 of Hunter, how long can the 20 of Hunter Peach hang on? We know he's gotten some benefit from these caution flag laps. Will he be able to hold on to the end of the stage, though? That is the $64,000 question as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Dustin Hall will take them into the Geico restart zone. Pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road, and once again, we are racing in the restart zone. Dustin Hall waits for the green flag, gets a good jump. Hunter Peach, not so much. Zachary Meredith, though, Brandon Proudfoot, all in the mix there, as they want to try to get some points before the stage ends.
Yeah, all crucial to get stage points here, or at least owner's points to help your odds. If you're like that 25, for instance, a Proudfoot, if you can't get full-time right, at least help the team you're filling in for to get them at least a chance to compete for the owner's championship, where the real prize money is. Cars fan out here, and to kind of counteract what you were saying, these cautions have definitely probably helped out Hunter Peach and the crew, because it's only about a 3-lap difference, and with those laps being mostly under caution, he probably could have saved enough to be on the same strategy as Hall and Meredith. The question is, can he have that little extra fuel to make it, and can he go full throttle for the next 6 laps here coming this time by? But looking at Proudfoot and Meredith, they're going to keep their battle going like we saw before the caution. Neither really going to give an inch here. Can Proudfoot find a way around that 17?
So far, no dice for Proudfoot. Zachary Meredith continues to keep his foot down and keep rolling around the track. Brandon Proudfoot now under fire from Caitlin Height. The 3 Machine wants to get a piece of that and wants to put herself one position forward. As a result, won't happen this time by, but Proudfoot once again under fire from, or Meredith under fire from Proudfoot. Lots of battles going on up front, and right now the first pass is going to be between, I believe, the 90 Pavette and the 35 Rover.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle here as it rages on. There, we'll see it right now in our shot. Neither car going to give an inch here. Points matter the most. Back up to the lead, though. Hall still leading the way. He's done. It's looking like it's going to be a good day for him, how it's shaking up. But Hunter Peach and Zachary Meredith keeping him honest. And here you can see Swatsworth and Trout 9th and 10th respectively. Dean Clavitt, first car on the outside looking in for stage points. Swatsworth not going to get the toes. Going to maybe have to tick back in line here to get some draft. But the problem is you got a fast Dean Clavitt willing to fill that hole.
Lots of fast drivers trying to do everything they can to get the stage points position, because as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, these stage points are about to add up a lot more. Battle now for second as Dustin Hall continues to drive away. Hunter Peach, Zachary Meredith in the mix right there for position number 2. Brandon Proudfoot also up there as well. They want to try to fight Peach, as Peach may not have an option on those older tires.
Yeah, it leaves him prone to getting attacked here, prone to getting kind of run down here with those old tires when you can't get him to grip. But one thing he's learning, and this is something to kind of keep in the back of the mind, even though it's a 3-lap difference, you can make it rip on slightly older tires. Now, obviously, we saw even with Josh Arnold staying out 14 laps for a couple laps, he was able to keep the gap and hold it. So if we get a late caution or green light checkered, we may see cars say, track position more available than tires. But as we watch in second position, Proudfoot and Meredith going to try to follow suit, and it could be 3 spots off for the 20, as he is on the wrong lane right now, and he's going to possibly get freight trained on the low side.
I think the 20 no longer has an option. He's strong on the straights, but he does not have any traction in the turns at all. You see him go high out there, and you see how much he's on the back bumper of Proudfoot, but when it comes to the turns, he just does not have the traction he needs. He does not have the speed he wants out there, and those old tires are starting to haunt him just a little bit. Peach may be forced to go in before the stage break. We'll see what he chooses to do here, as we only have 4 laps to go before we see another caution flag.
And again, with that win, I've kind of reiterated how wins are kind of lets you try different things. And I wouldn't be shocked if Hunter Peach maybe tries it. He's getting a good point to get stage points, but at the same point, keep this alt strategy going. Maybe if it goes a few more spots down before the pit lane closes in 2 laps, maybe to say, all right, let's do it again. I'm not going to go a lap down. I'm not going to have to worry about the lucky dog. Cycle back to the lead and try something different, as the 3 will clear the 20. But now the 20 will at least have a little bit of reprieve for Zachary Merritt, about 3 tenths. So Peach can kind of stay in tow with the 3 and stay in lockstep. The opportunity to get past isn't high. Here a little bit further back, though, looking at 8, 9, and 10 is DJ Trout last in on the stage points. But Josh Pasosi, a name we haven't said much about, is Reynolds with a big excursion, almost hitting the wall there. Luckily keeping that PNC machine from scraping that wall.
But the PNC machine could lose a position out here as he's trying to fight on the high side by Flowers underneath him. So seeing what those drivers can do on the front straightaway. Now scoring lap 38 of 43 to go before we hit the green checkered flag. Side by side, Flowers and Reynolds continue to go into turn number 1. Flowers has the advantage. Will he be able to make the pass? Meanwhile, up front, battle for the lead.
Got the battle for the lead here. Also, you can see on the ticker, a bunch of cars coming in to take advantage before the pit lane closes next time by. They saw the strategy work for a few drivers like Peach. They want a taste of it. They want a slice of that peach pie, and they're coming on in. Here, though, you can see Proudfoot got the run, but couldn't really make anything happen. And you'll get some of that at Pocono. He's going to have to set for something up, but Height is coming with a whole head of steam here. Last time by, between the 3 of them, the fastest on the track was that 3 car. So we'll see if that 3 can get a run, as we are going to have 2 laps to go. Pit lane will be officially closed. So if any drivers want to come on in, this is the lap you have to do it. As the leader is about to cross the line now, and the 3 is going to get a good run. We'll see if they send one off into 1.
Pit lane is officially closed at this point. Now the question is, who's going to win the stage number 2? Dustin Hall still under fire from Brandon Proudfoot. They are side by side in turn number 1. Caitlin Height in the mix as well. Hunter Peach in that mix as well. Brandon Proudfoot gets isolated down low. He may lose 2 positions going into turn number 2 and the short chute. Proudfoot unable to go, a victim of his own hubris there. Flew too close to the sun, and now he's going to lose 2 positions. Can he get either one of them back? In the short chute they go. Proudfoot dives down low one more time, trying to get an advantage on Peach. It's side by side. He's going to get a big run. Side by side now with Peach. Height blocking for position number 2. Side by side, no advantage for Proudfoot, and it will be Dustin Hall, your winner of stage number 2. Caitlin Height second. Hunter Peach, Brandon Proudfoot, your top 4.
We got one more lap, though, before we can lock those positions in stage right now. Dustin Hall doing a great job of backing the corners when he needed to do. You saw there turn 3, backed it up just enough to not allow that 3 the chance to get a run off here. So Hall really keeping those lines in check. Height's going to have 2 more corners to try to make something happen. But you know Hunter Peach, if he can get a chance here, maybe like, you know what, I'm going to make the move instead. I'd rather have second than settle for third. But Proudfoot also sees an opportunity he is not willing to let up here. He's on the back of Peach. So they're all willing to attack each other. And maybe like the Scorpion, the Frog, they may all lead to a path of destruction because it's in a race car driver's nature. Proudfoot with a big send for P3. Going to breeze up all the road here. Maybe trying to push Peach out. Can't get it done as they come down the drag stretch to the line. Dustin Hall sweeps the stages. Kayla in second, Hunter Peach in third. Zachary Meredith with Proudfoot's desperation move is going to get fourth, with Proudfoot now falling down to fifth. Reynolds, Sassett, Clavitt, Roberg, and Sosi rounding out your top 10. So Sosi finally gets a point in that Hello Kitty machine tonight. But Dustin Hall looking like the class of the field. And here again is the unofficial results. Read it over one more time. Hall, Height, Peach, Meredith, Proudfoot, Reynolds, Sassett, Clavitt, Roberg, and Sosi, your top 10. Now the question is, can anyone stop Dustin Hall?
Dustin Hall has been dominant all night long here in Long Pond. He's won to both stages. He won the pole. Now can he win it all? He is on a path of destruction to do so. We will see, but we still have plenty of racing left to go. There is still a lot of opportunity on this track to do some green flag racing, so Dustin Hall can't walk away with it just yet. Don't engrave his name on the trophy right now. We've still got plenty of racing to go, and it's still anybody's race to win.
Considering the fact, again, we've seen countless times throughout this season where a driver that's dominated stages has not had the best success rates winning the final stage, I definitely could put that fact as correct. You can't count out Dustin Hall. You can't count the rest of the field yet, as the driver that's won both stages hasn't been the one to really capitalize on the opportunity. We're going to go around one more lap, and then pit lane should officially be opened here. Obviously, the likes of Josh Arnold, DJ Trout, Christopher Pendell, Jeremy Braille, and Austin Mongold all elected to come in before the stage ends. So presumably, they will all cycle through and take the lead here, bearing anyone else maybe does what Josh Arnold did and stay out. And considering when we do probably get the green flag, will be around lap 44, 45, we're looking at, give or take, 42, 41 laps. So we're almost at halfway for this race over, and at least one pit stop, green flag pit stop, could loom for this field. And you want to cut that final stage in half if you want to take it.
Kevin, at this point, going into the third and final stage, are you taking Dustin Hall, or if I offered you a bet, okay, Dustin Hall or the rest of the field, who are you taking?
Dustin Hall or the rest of the field? That is a good question. I mean, I'd say 38 cars, well, not 38 anymore because just how many are still running on the lead up. 32, we'll say, with game and win. We'll say 34. I think I got to take the field on this one. It's just a majority of cars right now. Height showed some good pace. Peach, Meredith, Proudfoot, Reynolds, haven't seen much of a flash. You can never count out Joshua Sosi. I like Dustin Hall. Hope he proves me wrong, but I got to take the field. It's just enough majority of cars that you got 38 hits, 37 of it's more likely to be 37 out of 38 than 1 out of 38.
All right, I appreciate you playing the roulette wheel there, and you're not wrong. But here's my argument for Dustin Hall. Here's why I think he's got this in. He could have this in the bag. Obviously, he still has to play a lot of reverse math here. He has to play the race backwards at this point and figure out when he wants to come down to finish first. But if he can do that, if he can, even his pit crew can get together and say, we need to come down on this lap, if there's no caution flags, then he's got a very good chance of walking away the race as you watch him come off first off of pit road. I think it's really a matter of math now, and whoever does the math best will win this race. Dustin Hall has the car. Now he has to do the math, and I got a feeling his team's got the calculator out right now, trying to figure out how to make it work.
And in turn, we've seen cautions fill stage 2. So if we get a caution lap here, caution lap here, caution lap here, with Pocono being long enough, if we see a car go for the undercut at other tracks, it could be detrimental if a caution comes out. But let's just say a car goes for the undercut, let's say when we get to lap 65, 66, cutting it in half. They go for the undercut. Lap later, someone gets in a caution. Something stupid happens. They then cycle to the lead, and in turn, it's only a 1 lap difference. So at other tracks where the risk of the undercut is always going a lap down, this is kind of a road course effect where you can get back and make something happen. So it's going to be interesting to see, and this is where the virtual strategy gods play out and make up their virtual currency, making these calls happen. More importantly, though, William Britton elected to take similar to the Josh Arnold route. He elected to stay out. He came in at 31, though, 5 laps earlier than Arnold, Trout, and the rest of the crack. So stage 2 winner last week at the BFL 500 is now going to take the green flag here in pole position with Arnold in second. And overall, it's a great call by William Britton. It's hard to win a stage, especially in HTL, and he's looking poised to maybe roll the dice here and make something happen.
Definitely lots of opportunities out here if you know how to make them. The question is, who knows how to make them best as the pace car continues to roll out? I believe the lights are off right now, so let's take it down to the starting order for number 3, stage number 3, as we get ready to go out. William Britton, the privateer, will start in position number 1. Josh Arnold, who we saw start up front in stage 2, will start in position number 2. DJ Trout, Christopher Pendell, Jeremy Braille, Austin Mongold, all on different pit cycles. They will be your top 6. Dustin Hall will be 7th, Hunter Peach 8th, Caitlin Hyde 9th, and Zachary Meredith your top 10. So when we go to Green Flag Racing, we'll have 6 drivers who are on a completely different cycle, all hoping they did the math right. So if they did the math right, if they figured it out, then these guys could challenge your leaders for the win. The question is, did they do the math right? Are they figuring out where they need to stop? And how much could pit flags play into this? Yellow flags could play into this run? I've got a feeling that it will, this race could be marred by yellow flags towards the end of the race. As everybody gets antsy, everybody gets a little nervous, everybody tries to figure out what they need to do to win this race. Let's also not forget, we are at the very end. We're getting towards the end of the regular season. We're getting towards the playoffs. If you don't have that challenge, if you don't have that win, or at least a good finishing position in the standings, you're not going to get in the playoffs, which is what everyone's trying to do. Wind picking up now, 15 miles per hour, says the National Weather Service, with a temperature of 65 degrees on the track. So the wind may become a factor here as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. William Britton in control of this field. Green flag flies, and we are back to racing with William Britton up front, Josh Arnold second, Chris Mendel, DJ Trout, Austin Mongold, your top five. William Britton making a big wiggle out there, was your leader, and now going into turn number 3 will give it up to Christopher Pendel. Nowhere to go for the 64, and you see just the effect of how having no tires out there will affect you as you go back live. Pendel first down, Arnold second, DJ Trout moves in third, and William Britton forced to back in as he goes to position number 4. Another wiggle on the track looked like was with the 4 of the 4 machine of, I believe that's Zachary Apperson. As you see him get a big wiggle. Let's see if we can try to get another view of that again. No, we're going to stay live here with your leaders up front. Christopher Pendel, the Gatorade machine, on his leading for the first time tonight. Josh Arnold in second, DJ Trout third, William Britton fourth, and now the 12 getting racing. The 12, Dustin Hall just passed 2 cars. Got past the 91 of Austin Mongold and the 44 of Jerry Brault. So Dustin Hall feeling very strong, very racy in that machine. And I've got a feeling he's not going to want to sit back here for much longer.
Oh, no, definitely not want to sit back here as well. Obviously, you want to take through the sights and sounds of that track on that lap, but cars were just fighting hard. You saw tire differentials. You see strategies playing out, different sequences, and cars are going to get antsy in that situation. But Dustin Hall knows his car is fast with the clean air. Problem is, though, is in these situations when you're in traffic, you got to change how you run. And when you ran for so long in clean air, you got to make concessions, make different moves to make it happen. Now, obviously, Dustin Hall is a pro at this. Should be able to get off, jumping off in the deep end quickly, get back into form. But you definitely know that pressure is on Hall. In turn, Hunter Peach, for instance, the second car you can say was running second to Dustin Hall at the end of the stage there. Actually, it was Caitlin Hype. She's one behind. But the gap has been in the grow. It's a buffer, a 4 car. Now with Hall making a move on Britton, that gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in turn, Peach, Height, the rest of the field, they're going to have to get a move on and get going quickly. As we watch now P3 as Trout is pushing Arnold, pushing quickly, but still leading the way. And Christopher Pendel, who we know last week was dealing with an arm injury, was running with one arm, still doing a great job for being a one-arm warrior right now.
Christopher Pendel still up front, Arnold second, DJ Trout third, and Dustin Hall now getting some shove from Jerry Brault. The 44 wants to give a hand to the 12, and I've got a feeling the 44 thinks, hey, if I help the 12 out now, he will send me to the promised land, and maybe we can get a good finish as a result of this. As my phone blows up in the background, Pendel continues to lead, and now the next battle on track is between the 20 of Peach and the 91 of Mongold. We know Mongold's on older tires, a little bit less fuel, but Hunter Peach, I don't think is in a hurry to burn what he's got down. He knows how to save it. He knows he can save it. It's just now a matter of how conservative do I want to be running towards the end of this field.
I think the only thing concerning about, though, at the very least, though, is it kind of goes against your intuition. You've seen your main challenger going further and further away. Gap is right now about half a second and counting. As you watch the battle for second, as DJ Trout was trying to push Arnold, like, you know what, I could take second position away. But Trout's got to be careful here. because we saw with Proudfoot, if you make your move and you don't make it clean, it leaves you vulnerable from getting attacked. And it looks like Dustin Hall is going to try to do that right now. And looking at the very least, they'll be side by side. Still Trout though side by side with Arnold. Now the question is, what line will get the two run off this corner here? Hall bets on the low line here. Trout pushes Arnold just a bit, and this could be a 2-for-1. And this is what you got to worry about. You make it another Cars battle. Braille gets collected in there for Josh Arnold. Cars fan out. One car clips, that's Tommy Reynolds that piles in there as well. Good avoidance by Constantine to not pile into Braille, but Josh Arnold, the big loser in that situation, as he ended up going sideways.
I think the two just got caught up being too aggressive on the block, trying to hold off both the 93 and the 12. Let's take a look at the replay here and see what exactly happened. And this starts between the 93 and the 2. They go wheel to wheel, coming off the turn. The 2 has nowhere to go, gets into the 12, and the next thing you know, the 2 goes around for the ride, collects the 44 and a couple other cars out there. The 96 gets a piece, and I believe the 20 of Hunter Peach gets a piece now.
I think Hunter Peach just barely missed him here. We'll see if we get a perspective of it in our replays here. But you're just going to see as well, Trout wanting to make a move. The low side clears to the high side, and if he's not careful, he's going to get routed by Dustin Hall here. So he goes low, goes for an aggressive move here, trying to come up, but just gets on the throttle a little bit too early. Car drifts up. They get together right there. At that point, they get stuck. Trout's instantly trying to pull the wheel left here to not door Arnold in the wall. Arnold follows suit. They both go left, and then that little bump there by the 12 upsets the 2 a little bit more, trying to save it. But at that point, it kicks the other direction, and there happens to be a big 44 right there as they both hit that outside wall. And you'll see right there, I think Peach gets the under the limbo bar without a piece. Oh, he did get a little bit of a click.
He got a little bit.
He
definitely got touch there.
Mm-hmm. Now you can see Sosi hits the wall too, trying to avoid it as well. And then Tommy Reynolds just minding his own business. Top 10 car all night. Just couldn't find the right door through. Loses the front end clip. And a bunch of good cars here. Heavy damage. We'll have to see how this affects the aero and the dynamics of these cars.
Some of these cars are definitely out of contention as a result. I can guarantee you that right now. But the good news is none of the drivers up front are incredibly out of contention either right now. As you see the 2 there driving around with no front end. Several cars are going to take the opportunity to go down pit road this time by. Some of them not even involved. William Britt will come down this time by. The 17, the 25, both front runners will come down this time by. Proudfoot and Meredith coming down. Now, both those came down last yellow flag, so big surprise are coming down this time as well. The 22 by Blowerson, the 31 of DeMonte Dotson comes down pit road. Byron Jones, who was having electrical problems earlier, he's now back in pit road. Josh Arnold overshoots his stall, and that is going to be even more trouble, insult to injury for him. Pacey Wygen coming off pit road. Lots of drivers using this opportunity to come get new tires and new fuel. That could shake up strategy just a little bit as Christopher Pendel elects to stay out.
Yeah, some cars like to roll the dice here. And honestly, I don't hate this call per se if you got an extra set. They're basically trying to come in now, top it off. You can't make it to the finish line from here. But if we get another caution or we get another pit stop, you're going to have, because we know the rest of you will have to pit anyway, so you'll have fresher tires in the long of this run. They'll pit maybe at minimum another 10 laps before you, per se. Maybe 5-ish would be a little more conservative. And then come in, and then you'll have fresh tires to the run to the finish line. And if we get a late caution, you could stay out and keep the track position. So these cars banking on not maybe more cautions, not everyone getting recycled up. And I don't hate the call at all. But at the same point, to roll the dice, with Dustin Hall being kind of the expert here, Pocono, and him not coming in, it kind of feels like it's a move that you do if you're outside the top 10.
It's a move you do if you're outside the top 10, sure. But again, you in order to finish first you must finish. And I think it's a little too narrow-sided, a little too early to call that. You've got to be able to finish this race. You've got to be able to play well with others. If you're losing, again, it's a non-linear sport. You've got plenty of time to get back up. You've got plenty of time to find your way through the field. You don't want to throw it all away on a dumb mistake. This, that's not even close to being finished.
Yeah, it's just the risk and the reward, and also in turn being back there now, you're kind of back with the squirrels a little bit, and in turn with drivers trying to push, trying to maybe be a little more exelish, it could in turn put you at a risk where you can get damage and end up like you were saying, Joe. First, if you want to win, you first got to finish, and possibly being back there, you may not even get the chance to finish. So we got one to go here, this time by Pendel and Trout will be row number 1, with Pendel having control of the restart. Hall Peach will be row 2. They'll be side by side again. Makes you wonder if the damage on that 20, how it will affect his car. Height Sasek will be row 3. Constantinu and Swatsworth row 4. Constantinu, definitely a favorite next week at Suzuka. Could be in position to do what not a lot of drivers have done in HTL, win back to back to back. But first of all, she's got to win tonight. She'll be fired P7, and Zier and Flores rounding out the first 5 rows.
So very interesting set of drivers up front here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Pendel, of course, will lead them through the restart zone and into green flag territory. But behind these two drivers, a whole host of drivers who have better tires and more fuel behind them. Think of them, as these guys have more ammunition on the battlefront than the first two guys have, and they're going to have to try to get their way out of trouble here in just in a handful of laps. In several laps, you're going to have to figure out how to get out of trouble and how to avoid all the drivers coming at them from behind. Into turn number 3 now. It's only a matter of time before Pendel and Trout lead them back to the start-finish line. Plenty of driving left to do on this track. Over 30 laps left to go here at Pocono Raceway, as a pace car this time by will make the hard left turn down pit road. Lights are off. Let's go back racing. Pendel leads them to the restart zone. We are back to green flag racing.
Good launch there by the 94. Going to cover low here. Trout going to cover Hall. And they're going to keep an eye on that battle for third here. Dustin Hall not wanting to wait around DJ Trout. Going to be on the offensive. And Kalen Height as well going to fit the middle. So Peach really caught high there. On the marble. He is sinking and sinking kind of quickly here. He'll have to stop the bleeding. He'll pull back in line. But opportunity favors the bold. And Hall and Height both, well, maybe Hall did against, but Height definitely did, following suit with the 12 machine. Now the question is, can they make anything more happen here? But Trout playing good defensive right there, holding off Dustin Hall.
Pendel continues to lead DJ Trout. Dustin Hall, though, he is getting irritated. He wants him back to the lead. He wants to get in front of everybody and start getting a run in order to try to get away and ultimately take control of this race. I think his fate is in his hands a little bit, and he's thinking, if I have to win, I have to get back up front and take back first place in order to fulfill my strategy. With those two drivers in front of him, the good news is he doesn't have to run as hard, but he does have to run in their tire tracks, which can frustrate him, which can prevent him from getting a big run on Height, on Peach, and everyone else behind him. So right now, Dustin Hall's thinking, my fate's in my hands, and it starts with getting these two drivers out of my way.
Some drivers love having fate in their hands. They thrive off that. They want to make that their challenge. They like being able to control their own destiny. I probably could say most people like controlling their own destiny. But overall, it's working a treat. Hall, though, trying to make something happen, but he's got to be careful not to be too aggressive, though, because A, you don't want to wreck your car or wreck someone else and in turn make an enemy. But B, we saw it Proudfoot in stage 2, being not picking his spots carefully enough and open the door for other cars making lunge. But look at that right there. Hall drives through the corner, almost like that thing is on rails. It's going to be a straight shot down the line. Trout keeps the spot for now, but Trout not going to be able to cover it off. Question is, what can Hall do heading off into 1?
Into the high banks of turn number 1, they go side by side, not able to clear DJ Trout this time, but he's going to stay on his door panel, go door to door with him in the second stretch. Now he's got the 3 of Height behind him, trying to give him that boost, trying to get him around, as he didn't have earlier, pushing Dustin Hall around. Now into turn number 2, Dustin Hall finally gets in position. Will Caitlin Height come along for the ride?
I think he's going to follow suit. That was kind of probably the game plan here, even though they're not teammates. I'll push you clear, I'll follow suit, we'll both get around, and then we'll continue this on to get to the 94 machine and keep that momentum going. But right now, the 3 not really fulfilling her end of the deal there, even though it was an unofficial deal. And Trout keep the spots. Now Trout's like, hey, you did that to me, I'm going to do it to you. Vitamin Water Machine going to be on the low side. Can she get the run? Can they get the run off, I should say, to make something happier? Pendel, though, smiling ear to ear, doesn't really even have to really be all that defensive. Watches about for seconds, giving him at least a bit of a cushion right now. Trout going to be on the low side, can't get fully clear. And they'll be side by side heading off into corner 2 in about 10 seconds.
Caitlin Height has to really quickly decide who she wants to be friends with. Does she want to work with Hall, or does she want to work with Trout? And who's going to work with her to get up in the mix as well? She once again will choose the 12 there, and now she's going to try to go low around DJ Trout. he's getting help from Sasek, who wants to get up into the mix as well. So Sasek gives a shove to the 3, gives a shove to the 12, and now we're playing billiards. There's 3 wide through the turn.
Yeah, right there. It was almost a spot where the 3 in that back corner got into the 93. Did not touch, did not make any contact. Now the 3's going to end up losing the spot back again, though. But a little bit further back, you can see Constantinu on the low side here. About to get passed by Swatsworth. Swatsworth in the preferred lane. Constantinu going to maybe go for a big send here. Carla's a little bit squirrely there. She went a bit too low off the rumple. They'll still be side by side back down the back stretch here, but Swatsworth the favorite to get the spot. Rest of the field, though, you can see is pretty much single file as maybe the bit of the calm before the storm, as next time by we'll have 13 laps to go. To update you on some of the drivers that came in at lap 50 as car hits the wall big time there, right in front of the leaders. That car is not for position. It is now officially gone 1 down. And that is something you do not want to see when you're leading the pack.
That is definitely something you don't want to see as you lead the pack. That is the last thing you want to see. He will go ahead and yield to all the other cars out there, try to avoid any further trouble out there as Pendel continues to lead. Dustin Hall, Trout in 3rd, Caitlin Height 4th, Eli Sasek your top 5. Battles brewing now for position number 8 as Constantino was fighting to the 18 of Swatsworth. Constantino will get that move up front and will barely clear the 18 out of turn number 1.
Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. 2 things to note. One thing as well, finish by point with the cars running. Highest one that came in at lap 50 right now is Josh Damon in 10th. Secondly, Pacey Wygent just hit his box. Still early for a final pit stop, but Wygent thinks he wants to go for the undercut here. Beyond sequence here, away he goes. Have to keep an eye on his strategy. Battle for the lead here. Hall going to try to send in 3. We know this is his favorite corner. He's able to get the runs he needs, and he is well clear. He's going to slide on up, so put Dustin Hall back to the lead. It took him a little longer than he probably wanted to, but he's not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. He will lead his first lap in over 15 laps, but Pendel looking to maybe make that a streak that's willing to break.
He makes a pass in the Milwaukee mile turn, and he will take away the lead. Now Pendel wants to try to get that lap back, or the lead back. Not going to happen, though, as Dustin Hall starts to drive away. Meanwhile, behind them, DJ Trout once again under fire from Caitlin Height. This time, she does not have the help of Sasek in the 9 machine. They're going to continue to run nose to tail, all 3 of those cars. My question is, who's going to be the first one to try to duck down low and get position?
Yeah, we'll have to see. And this is kind of noteworthy as well. Trout really keeping Height at bay here, really making those lines work. And it just really makes you appreciate Dustin Hall more, who's able to really carve through this field like a hot knife through butter, while other cars kind of seem to be struggling at least a little bit. Now, maybe Height burned up her stuff a bit. Maybe it could be a lot of different factors. But Hall is really getting it done. But Pendel, you can see getting the toe here, not going away like a bad rash. Trout as well. And they're showing that strategy of coming at the end of stage and getting that track position is key. And it's maybe something to make a note for if we get a late race caution. A little further back here, here's Lilacs here in the group of the cars that pitted at 50, and some of them are setting blistering times as the tires are now beginning to favor these cars that are a little bit further back as the leader cars are starting to have tire fall off.
Speaking of Constantino, the 2800 Peach is one I'm watching right now. He's dropped down to 6th position, and he's not in a hurry to try to get position as well, as the 3 gets a big wiggle coming off of turn number 2 on the short chute. The 20 someone I'm watching because he was running very strong earlier in the race. Now he's relegated himself to position number 6. And I said earlier, he may know something that the rest of us don't know, which I still believe is true. I still believe he's got some great opportunity there, but I'm curious to see what happens next. What is he going to do now? And how is he going to manage the rest of the race from here? He's got a chance to top 5, if not win. How does he manage it to make sure he gets that position he needs as he continues to fall backwards?
Yeah, and that damage is also probably playing a bit of a factor as well. Even though it's probably minor, that can affect the arrow, and in turn can really hurt you down the straight. Can be a bit of a pocket, if you will, and in turn, or even in the front there, can also affect the downforce, not being able to attack those corners the way he wants. Again, no fast pairs in the HTL Cup Series, so he's got to hope that can be fixed out as he just clips the wall again there as it plowed out quite hard, and you can see Constantino going to capitalize quite quickly just in the far shot here. Side by side, there's Swatsworth as well. So right now, Peach is maybe just hoping his pit stop can't come soon enough. But speaking of, we are getting close to that magical time for those cars coming in. Peach and Constantino rub feathers back again. Keep the tempers clear. We don't want a Breo and Rodriguez situation again. But luckily, they'll both keep it flat. And now this will help Game and get a push as he will push the Simware Racing car into the corner. And Constantino going to get clear, going to slide up So Constantino will win the battle. We'll see if maybe they will win the war, as Peach is definitely going to come back here.
Peach now on the back bumper of the 57 of Constantino. Let's see what happens here. I'm curious to see, as he gets in the back bumper, is he going to try some shenanigans? Is he going to try to make her have a forced error here and get around? So far, the 57 able to clear, but the 20 getting a push from the 33. We'll see how long that lasts for. And it looks like the 20 may have some damage we're unaware of, or that may be hurting him. He may have a toe link that's out of place there. And if that is the case, that could explain why his car is going backwards.
Yeah, definitely that damage possibly when he hit that car was spinning. Braille, I believe it was. Another car pitting in, though. That's the Monte Dodson. Second car to come in out of this major pack will join Casey Wygen, who pitted about 5 laps earlier. Now we'll see how they cycle out through their cycle. This is the time you really wish you had an Intimidator button like the old NASCAR games, where you can maybe bend someone out of shape down a straightaway to try to make something happen here. But this top 5 have worked a gap. They're about 1 and some change clear of Constantino in 6. So if they keep doing what they're doing, they should be in play to make something happen. More importantly, though, when pit stops occur, as Trout gets a big wiggle, that's going to affect height. And in turn, Sasic could be here to reap the rewards. But to finish my point, we know Pendel and Trout are probably going to pit earlier, about maybe 2-3 laps earlier than Hall, Height, and Sasic. But that undercut is also going to play a factor and give them a little bit extra track position. And now as the sun is officially coming out and the clouds are parting, we are looking for a good lap, last 24 laps of this race, almost maybe a virtual sign this is going to be a good finish.
I think the racing gods are smiling upon us as they continue to get racy up there in the top 5. Height doing everything she can to not only hold off the 9 of Sasic, but try to get around the 93 of Trout. We know that 93 is on a timer. He's on a pitch count right now. He can only go so much longer without being forced to pit. And I think what he's trying to do, if I'm the 93 of DJ Trout right now, what I'm trying to do is, okay, let me hold out as long as I can. The caution flags are going to happen. Caution's going to happen sooner rather than later. Let me see him hold out, if I can hold out as long as I can in order to keep my position and come down with everybody else. You see him go down low. This could be a sign he's coming in. Yep, he's going to be forced to come in with a 94 this time by, so their strategy may not have panned out. They may not have gotten the caution flag they wanted, but that's going to open the door for the 3 fastest cars out here on the field right now, Hall, Height, and Sasic.
And Alice is going to give Hall such a big buffer here to the 3 because those 2 cars were in front of Hall and in turn are going to allow the ability for Hall to kind of drive away here. But I don't hate this because 94 and the 93 will both get fresh tires and will in turn allow them to kind of run alone here and get some track position and in turn clean air and in turn try to jump Hall, Height, and Sasic when they eventually pit in a couple laps. And in turn, if a quick caution comes out, they're going to at least be reaping the rewards here as they won't go a lap down and get to keep any track position they gain. But one thing for certain, when pit stops cycle through, it looks like it's going to be the 00 taking the lead. It's just cleared the 93 on track on the race off pit lane. But up front, we're still focusing on the 3 here. There's 00, currently in 30th, but first of the cars to make presumably their final pit stop. And you can see how close it is between the 0 and the 93. So that battle's interesting to note when the rest of the field pits in. Pendel also had a poor stop, didn't spit in his tires, but he was very conservative on entry. Trout almost passed him in the pit lane.
Battle now is around position number 5 as Joshua Gavin holding off the 22 of Blowers and the 57 of Bianca Constantino. Constantino trying to do everything she can, but she's going to lose 2-3 positions in that mix-up right there, and will go from 5th to potentially about 8th as she now continues to try to fight her way through traffic. With just over 20 laps to go at this juncture, I know that time is not everybody's friend right now. Everyone's got to come down pit road, and they're going to probably see it in the next 2 or 3 laps because we know the window is about 20, 22 laps. And now we've got some more takers down pit road. Constantino will come down with, I believe, it's 20 Hunter Peach.
Yep, Hunter Peach and Constantino both in this time by, fired up the radio comms. And now the question is, you were saying, Joe, it's 2-3 laps to cut this in half. Now we're well in. The only thing you got to want to worry about is you want that extra fuel if we do get a green light checker. And even though cautions haven't been plenty in this final stage, you don't want to leave it the chance in those situations. So you want to get those extra laps just in case so you can keep that track position. But in turn, it's minimizing risk and reward. If you go longer, there's also that risk that you're going to lose track position. In turn, can you make it back up? A little bit further back there, Gaiman making a move here on the inside of the 22, and Gaiman is also coming in this time by 2, which is interesting. He came in at lap 50, could go a little longer if he wants, maybe try to get those fresh tires. Coming in along with Proudfoot, they're both making their stops now. So overall, that call on coming in at lap 50 may have not played the best, as they didn't really gain as much track position as they were hoping for.
Risk and reward for both coming in early and coming in late. Gaiman on coming down pit road. Proudfoot coming on pit road. Selena Thompson will join them on pit road as well. As I continue to watch our leaders out there, yes, there is risk in coming in late and coming in early or late. There's reward in coming in early or late as well. And the question is, well, how much risk do you want to open yourself up to? What is your risk management strategy going into the remainder of this race? If you pit now, you have a better shot of getting better position if we go green the rest of the way. If you pit later, you have plenty of gas if we need to have multiple green-white checkered. By the way, the record for green-white checkers in HTL was set here at Pocono Speedway with a total of 5 afterwards. Leaders now coming in pit road, they're gonna take the risk of coming in early.
This is where you got to. This is the money stop. You want to make sure you saw a little puff of smoke on the 3's brakes there. You want to be greedy. You want to get the most time you can on entry and exit. And this is where you do not want to spit in your box. You do not want to speed. You don't want to miss your box. So the 3 will hit their box first, then the 9, then the 12. We'll keep an eye on all 3 here to make sure they don't miss their stops here. They all get in nice and easy. But again, fortune favors the bold, but you can easily get too close to the sun and crash out. All 4 tires in fuel. Leader should be the 00 coming down the backstretch right now. Actually, it's still gonna be the 00, but they're in tow with the 33 and the 25. Keep an eye on it. Hall is gonna win the race off, but look at the right side of your screen. You're gonna see the pack coming and zooming on by. When this is all done, the 00 will have the lead, but now with the fresh tires for the cars coming out now like Hall and Height and Sasek, what can they do with them?
Right now, scoring is showing Bobby Blowers as your leader, as he did not come down with that group as well. It's 17 of Zachary Meredith being scored as second. He will continue to run second. Tommy Reynolds has moved up to third after being involved in that accident earlier. David Smeal in fourth, and Dean Clavette rounding out your top 5. So now we're waiting to see when these group of leaders are going to come down pit road and when they feel it's the most appropriate for their teams to make that call. Blowers has not been in contention all night long, but he's got a good shot at getting into contention as a result of this. When is he going to come down pit road? Or is he going to try to run it dry as he can before he comes down?
Yeah, running it dry could be a strategy and make it work. Only concern is caution comes out. You're losing all that track position, so have to see how it all plays. Weathers coming in, David Smeal Jr. coming in. Smeal will hand up 5th. Clavett not happy because it looks like maybe a late call there, but still the top half not pitting. They're going to go longer. Remember, came in at lap 50, so it's safe to assume they can go to about 70-ish and some change. So we're going to see that come shortly. Here's what will be the battle for the lead. Proudfoot looking to make the move down the stretch and will take the lead here, the provisional lead. Dustin Hall almost hit the wall there. You know he's pushing and trying to get to this pack of 4 here.
Definitely trying to get up to this pack of 4 and try to take a lead. Again, he knows that he needs to take the lead as many laps as he can, because once he has it, he can have a stranglehold on it and continue to lead cars. He is the fastest car out there, but he definitely needs that clean air in order to show how fast he is. Meanwhile, back in the current lead right now, Blowers continues to lead. He's got a huge lead on Tommy Reynolds and the 17 of Zachary Meredith. Meredith is going to come down pit road this time by. So Meredith, the next one to come down pit road by Blowers, continues to run.
Yeah, Flowers going long here. Just trying to make something happen, hoping for caution, and certainly hoping everyone comes in with him when it happens. But Flowers being a super sub, driving 4 different numbers in this young HTL season, being over half the races, he has driven a different number and just trying to find stability here. And just basically say, hey, you got a ride? I'll come and take it for you, and I'll drive a top 10. Proof of why he is a great super sub to have on short road. Zachary Meredith in the pit lane, he pitted inside the top 10, giving us at least now the top 10. They've yet to make their pit stops here. Still no word if anyone's coming in yet. Steer has already come in, so that's unrelated to this battle. But now with Bobby Flowers, a lot of alliteration there, staying out another lap to lead, another lap, bring his total to 5.
The other super sub, speaking of drivers who've been driving multiple cars this week, the other super sub I'm looking at is Roberg. He's in the last 4 weeks, he's been in the 27, the 99, the 33, and tonight the 35. machine, which I believe is an Uncharted machine. So 4 different cars, 4 different weeks, and I don't know if that's a record. I think even Bobby Flowers right now are pretty much up there for the record of consecutive numbers different numbers in consecutive weeks.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a stats person on that for next week to maybe find out what exactly that record is, if that record even exists, because that'd be quite an interesting tidbit to know about. Another car in the top 10 pitted, so gaming now officially up to P10. Someone just hit the wall big time there for Dean Clavette, I think, hit it while we were watching on Roby Rover. The question is, again, how badly at 90, and 90 is now in, hand out the window. He is now in. Roberg will go up another spot, so that will promote that lead pack that will take the lead when it's all said and done, up another spot, but it's the Proudfoot Gaming shows. They're pushing away, and Hall making inroads. He's caught this little gaggle of 4, including Trouton himself. And again, it shows the testament of Dustin Hall here is Kalen Height and Eli Assassin, both on the same strategy, have yet to even come close to catching Dustin Hall, who's already caught this pack while they're about 3 seconds back there. Still haven't gotten around Pacey Wyche.
Five Flowers continuing to lead. Right now he's got 35 seconds on Brandon Proudfoot and Joshua Gaiman back there. And that actually cut that lead a little bit shorter. 34 seconds now between Bobby Flowers and Joshua Brandon Proudfoot and company. Now, obviously, Flowers cannot get a pit stop done in that time. He cannot go down pit road. As he'll come down pit road this time by, he cannot get his service done and back out in the track in that time. So I think his moment in the sun is over, and he's just hoping for some green light checkered laps in order to try to move his way back up the Sienna ladder. That will open the door. I believe Tommy Reynolds will be your new leader.
Yes, it will. Yeah, it will be Reynolds. Actually, Reynolds came in too, so it's going to be Richard Odie, the privateer. He will take the lead here as he is not coming in with the rest of the crew here. He will take the lead, and William Britton obviously stayed out as well. So it's going to be Britton, Odie, the last 2 yet to make the pit stops. Britton came in at 50, Odie came in at 51. So Odie can go 1 lap later than Britton, but not enough to make it to the finish line. But again, getting some good TV time for the sponsors at the very least. And if a caution were to come out and prayers were answered, presumably the rest of the field comes in, they get to keep at least some of that track position. But Britton in this time by. Will Odie follow suit? If not, Odie will try to maybe lead 1 more lap.
This is what we call playing for the extra long game. At this point, you're just running it dry, number 1, to lead laps, as William Britton will now come down to the attention of his crew. You're playing the extra long game at this point. At this point, you are hoping that by outlasting everybody on track, you have the best opportunity to get the jumps if green and white checkered comes out, which there's decent odds that'll happen. So be very interesting to see how these guys manage.
Trying to get jump. Byron Jones stopped on the backstretch. Caution is out. Jones stopped in 2 and 3. Pendell and Jones in an incident there. That's the caution, and Britton and Odie needed 1 more lap to make it work, and that is going to be your caution. That's going to shake things up, get the Schultz shakers shaking it up, and we're going to see pure chaos here.
Taking a look at what happened there, it might have been a solo spin on the 19, the 94. No, the 94 is going to get on the back bumper of the 19, send him going sideways, sawing it left and right, blocking it. Before blocking it up, going into the entrance of turn number 2, Byron Jones, just a victim of bad luck there, as he got a little extra push in the 94 to bring out that caution flag.
I'll take a second look here as well on board with the bumper camera of the 19 machine. You see 94 is having a good run here, just inside the top 15. And you're going to see as well, just going through the tall turn, 94 is a little bit too aggressive on the speed and point. And that's enough to really upset the 19. Trying to save it, trying to saw it down. Good to get on the brakes here to keep his line predictable, but iRacing deemed this as 1 car stopped on the track. A caution, and that will bring out the flag. We'll take 1 more look now riding the road with Pendell. You see the same thing, just a big old boink. And in turn, Pendell very apologetic. Luckily, 19 doesn't get hit by anyone, but 19 is going to lose a couple spots. Dotson almost piled in.
What was that noise they made when they collided?
I don't know. Whoosh, swoosh. You could probably use a lot of homonyms to describe that.
I thought there was one in particular you used, and thank you. I don't know that. Thank you. I didn't know if that was the exact noise they made when they collided, but the 25 Brandon Proudfoot now fakes everybody coming down pit road, makes a turn, and then throws them off. So he's not going to come down pit road after all, and he's going to throw a couple people off. Pacey Wyche will come down pit road as a result of that, and a couple others as well. Hunter Peach is going to come down. Austin Mongold will come down, but for the most part, your leaders are electing to stay out. Proudfoot in first, Joshua Gaiman second, DJ Trout third, Dustin Hall fourth, and now Bobby Blowers, after leading all those laps, finds himself in position number 5.
It makes sense for YJ to come in. He went the longest on the undercut. There were still even some slight questions he could make it to the finish line, but now he's going to take the fresh tires and try to char for the field. Bobby Blauer is interesting. He took 2 tires on his stop and came out. That's how he gained the net track position in that exchange. So overall, though, it's going to be interesting how his 2 tires grip out. But now this is going to be interesting to roll the dice, because how it all plays could play out a big factor. And one more thing, this could be big for Height and Sassett, because they didn't push their tires as much as Hall did, as much as Trout, Gaiman, Proudfoot, who came in earlier. And because of that, they were saving a little bit back. They could have fresher tires and maybe be willing to lunge up here. The question is, though, Hall was putting his stuff up and burning stuff a little bit to catch up, but how badly did he cook his tires?
Hall has the fastest car out here. There's no doubt of that whatsoever. We all agree on that factor. Hall has the hottest car in the field tonight. The problem is, though, there's 2 things coming into play. Number 1, he's got 3 other cars he's got to leapfrog if he wants to get back in the lead. And then number 2, if you look at if you look at Height and you look at Sassett, these drivers have done a lot better job of conserving what they have. Conservation has been their partner all race long. So as we go back to green flag racing, this will reset everybody, restack everybody, and we will see truly who has the best equipment underneath them and who's willing to make that equipment go as fast as they can in order to win. I am fascinated to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. It's overall going to be a great play to see as we officially got the one to go that time by. It's going to be Proudfoot, Gaiman, Row 1. They were working together, but the best laid plans of Mice and Men go wide. They were working together, and now it's going to be every drive for themselves. Trout, Hall, Row 2. Blowers, Height, Row 3. Sassett, Reynolds, Row 4. And Smeal and Pendel, your first 5 rows here. And overall, like you said, this is going to be very fun to watch. The question is, what can anyone do for this? And in turn, let's look at this maybe at a playoff sense as well. DJ Trout right now, currently slotted 25th in the point standings. Usually good at the road courses, not maybe as great at the ovals as much as some of their competitors. Could steal one here and be in turn they'll clinch their way. And Proudfoot gets a second win. Could maybe get a full-time ride and get into the playoffs. Gaiman right now inside the top, actually outside the top, actually on the cut line right now. 15 above, a win ensures he doesn't have to worry in the next 5 weeks. So a lot of drivers could rewrite narratives if they find their way into victory lane.
Brandon Proudfoot looking for another win. Joshua Gaiman, DJ Trout, Dustin Hall all want to win themselves. And now it's really going to see what happens here. And if we continue to have a clean race, continue to have a clean run. We'll go to 9 to go when we cross the start-finish line. And if we have another strong finish, if we have another strong run to these guys, it could be our last run. I doubt it, but it could be. It definitely could be. As they go through the short chute into turn number 3, who do you got? Let me ask you this, Kevin. Are you still taking your field bet over Hall?
I think it's silly right now to change my line. I like Hall, but you know what? Give me the field on this one. It's like when those betting odds where you got the chance to cash out and maybe get a slight advantage. I'm riding it to the end. I'm sticking with my pick.
Field will be in play here as we get ready. The hard left turn for down pit road goes the pace car, and the 25 in charge of the field through the Geico restart zone. Green does not come out. There we go. Green flag out, the late green flag as the 25 gets the advantage on everybody.
Yeah, it's going to help Proudfoot, but did not make lane change after the start-finish line, so all clear and all legal, at least at the moment. You can see Gaiman now slots in a second, and Trout tried closing the door on Hall here, knowing it's important to keep third if you want to get that. A lot of drivers got penalties clear there because of the late call there, so no one will keep penalized for that. Hall still beside with Trout, and Trout knew that was important to get up there, couldn't get it done, will now slot the 4th. And Height gave Hall the shot in the 1 to try to make something happen. A few cars mow down that wall. Hall now getting some breathing room as now Height. And now we have a yellow. Caution is for the 90 at Clavitt, who is wrong way around. I think 27 to Thompson is also involved as well.
It'll be a shame for Thompson. Yes, it is going to be Thompson involved in that one. Big shame for her. She's been running strong all season long, and now to get involved in that last minute one, that is a shame. The 90 and the 26 will definitely, the 27, I should say, are going to be at fault. But it looks like the 90 really is wasn't the 27's doing, it was the 90. Going out of the turn here, the 27, I don't know if it got any influence from the 90, but the 90 ends up into the wall, hits the wall hard, and then collects the 27 coming out of the turn. So I don't know if the 27 touched the 90. I don't know if there's an incident there, but the 90 definitely hits the wall hard, collects the 27, and that brings out the caution flag.
It was very close here. We're right on board here with Bianca Constantino, who has a great view of this. I don't think the 27 touches from that blip camera. No, they do touch. You saw right there on the corner panel. That got Clavitt into the wall, and then you can see Constantino gives the finishing touch to finish the 90 there. So overall, Thompson kind of made the bed that her and Clavitt had to lie in. Indirect, obviously, two cars fighting hard here, is now right aboard the 27. You'll see, again, even a nicer shove here of what happened, just making a move. There, got a fender in it. Clavitt maybe put a little bit of pinch. The same point, though, you can see neither driver lifting. There's the wall hit. Nothing for Thompson to do, just ran into it. And at the very least, though, Thompson looks like got the least of the damage out of the three cars involved in that.
That might also be net code. Let's not discount that, because I don't think there was any malice. And I just think it was just two drivers racing hard. And that might have been a little bit of net code between the 27 and the 90. So no malice involved, but it does definitely hurt them nonetheless, and that could basically end their nights.
There was definitely contact, and kind of to say, like, I didn't want my narrative to come off as malicious. I don't think either driver was malicious here. This was definitely just two drivers fighting hard here. But we'll see it one more time again. You can just see the 27 trying to go for a hole there that was existing, and there's a little contact right there. And at that point, especially with the speed, a little jolt, a little extra turn, and at that point, that's all it takes to miss your mark and hit a wall. And you'll see right there, when that wall hits, it basically stops the 9 dead in its tracks. No for the 27 to go, and Constantino just an innocent bystander in this encounter. And look at Zier, though. Good avoidance by her to get out of this.
We'll take one more look at this from the car of Zier as you look here on the 50 to see kind of what happens up front, and check out this avoidance. Great avoidance by Lilac Zier in order to get out of everything happening. She sees what's happening in front of them. She knows that she doesn't want a piece of it. So what she do? She goes high, hits the loud pedal, and gets the heck out of there. Great job for the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver to avoid calamity.
Good avoidance, and that's sometimes what you need to make it through. Back to live action we go. 7 laps to go here. These extra laps are really playing into the factor of Proudfoot and Gaiman that need these extra laps to kind of make the gap kind of calm down. As Pocono's about 2.5 miles, and extra laps work into the favors of Hall and the rest. We saw complaints last week from Josh Sosi, for instance, who complained that with the extra cautions late, it allowed not a lot of opportunity for Sosi to really make something happen. Dustin Hall could be feeling that same kind of pressure right now, as we should get bunched up with 6, and when we fire off, we'll have 5 laps to go. Still well over 12.5 miles, so a lot to work with, but that goes by in the blink of an eye, about 5 minutes. So overall, Hall going to start feeling the pressure. If another caution comes out, even takes more time off that clock. More importantly, kind of a fun fact to note, 33 cars still running. A lot of drivers have had a little bit of some moments here and there, but only cars hit the retirement zone are Caleb Carter, Yahir Rodriguez, Caleb Eichler, Lily Pelte-Sharp, and Mark Parkhurst. Some due to internet, others with some minor damage here and there.
Dr. Arnold right now the only car 1 lap down, so it just shows you the strength of the field out here. Very smart drivers, very strong drivers, capable of doing what they have to do. And, you know, you got to say, for whatever you can say about HTL, you cannot say that they do not have a talented core of drivers that come in and week out, trying to do their best, pick up some wins, and ultimately walk away with a little bit of prize money at the end of the season.
Hey, overall, it's fun to have a league where you can be competitive, or at least know you'll have some good competitors to run with. One more thing I want to talk about. We're talking about narratives and bracket busting and whatever you want to say. Dustin Hall, even though he has 6 wins in the HTL Cup Series, he's another driver that's currently on the outside looking in. About 5 down from DJ Trout, currently 25th in the point standing. So if he can win, he puts himself in, locks himself in, and in turn shakes it up for the rest of the field as well. So overall, Hall's another driver that could take a pin to the balloon that right now is the top 16 in the driver's standings. But obviously, coming in with 5, we'll have 5 laps to go when we take the green. A lot of drivers here looking to try to be the one that can hoist the bald eagle in victory lane.
This is going to be interesting because at this point, if another caution flag comes out, we are looking at a green-white checkered finish. The first attempt out of, I don't know, how many attempts do we have, Kevin? Is it unlimited? Unlimited. So now, so pit strategy may come back to bite us one more time as we get ready to go green flag racing. 5 to go when they get to the line, and if a caution flag comes out anytime before the white flag, that we're going to go into green-white checkered overdrive finish. Proudfoot up front in position number 1 in the 25 machine. Green flag flies for him, but he does not get the jump he wanted. He's a little bit delayed on that. Opens the door for the 12 as they all go diving into turn number 1.
Look at that, 3 wide for second. Trout getting some shove from Blowers. That could be the thing that helps Trout here heading off into the corner here. Neither driver gonna give an inch, and when drivers don't give an inch, it usually ends in calamity. We'll see if they can keep it clean. Off corner exit, Trout trying to drive off. There you can see Gaiman almost doors Hall there. It's gonna be 3 wide for 4 between Blowers, Hall, and Height. Question is, Hall's going the wrong way quickly. Is his tires used up? We'll find out in a second, as they'll be still 3 wide.
33 almost gets spun, coming off of turn number 2. He'll get the wall, now collected by the 22, the 9 involved. Caution flag out. Lots of drivers involved in big, big mess.
Yeah, that is a good call there by you to see what happened. Gaiman frustrated, but when push comes up, this kind of shows why there's been the all-time HTL green-white checkered count was here, is just drivers pushing hard, try to get runs. So we're taking a look here. You can see right there, Gaiman hitting the wall. We're going to zoom on back here. Blowers pushing Gaiman. And then you're going to keep an eye on that pink car on the high side here. You can see even the more stack up further back there before Gaiman gets in the wall. That could be the first of the 2 calamities here. And then overall, then Gaiman gets in the wall up there and gets hooked by Blowers in front of the field.
The 33, when we look at that again, I want you to look at the 33. Makes a great save, but the problem is, coming off of turn number 2, he just gets stuck in that wall glue. That wall just grips you and slows you down. He has nowhere to go. The 22 tried to, looks like 22 tried to let him in, but with so much traffic behind him, so many speeding behind him, nowhere for those 2 drivers to go, and that just causes a big pileup. You have no time for indecision, as you see right now off Gaiman's perspective. Great save, but nowhere to go as a result of that. The wall glue grabs him, and that causes problems for everybody else out there. With so much traffic behind him, that just nowhere to go, nowhere to do, nothing to do, but just go along for the ride.
Yeah, Eli Sassy gets a piece there. There's the shunt that gets the 61 loose. Then you see good, though, by Hall. Height, they avoid the chaos, get around. Even Reynolds sneaks by, but at that point, that low line becomes a block zone. Sasic, Zier get piled in. The rest of the pack comes in. Danny piles in the Zier. There you can see Casey Ellis. They're up the wall. Hunter Peach, strong car all day. That could be the straw that breaks the camel back. Actually confirmed he's now pulled behind the wall. His day is done. So overall, just 2 separate instances, overall playing a big factor and taking, again, a good amount of cars out with heavy damage. We're still following, I think, Selena Thompson. Oh, Dean Clavin, who's going to have an interesting perspective on this.
Let's go ahead and roll. So apparently there was another wreck involved out there, and it started with the 17.
So we'll see this going down the straight here. We saw it in the blimp camera from the first shot. The first incident popped off. Looked like it was mostly saved for the most part, but obviously the second one was the one that became the bigger incident. So keep an eye on the 17th of Meredith. Oh, Constantin goes low, then, oh, that's a big shot. And then piled in by Gibney, but nowhere to go. Gibney piles in, and then luckily Meredith, you can see that thing is basically destroyed. That day is done for that 17. He was constantly running in the top 10, and then you can see everyone avoiding it. Braille avoids chaos, and he's going to have a good look as he was basically in both perspectives of the accidents.
Let's go ahead and watch along from Braille now as you see what he saw as a result of that incident. And I believe this is a secondary incident started before the 22, but you see just how crazy it gets very quickly, very fast, and the 44 here has to do everything he can to avoid all the insanity.
Yeah, and then it gets worse. You think you're out of it, and that was the calm for the storm. There's the second phase, and gets through it unharmed. Only a light blink, and that's all worth noting. Well, got one more thing to report on after this, but we'll take another look at the wreck here, and you can see now we're riding with Caitlin Height, just side by side. Hall obviously going the wrong way here. There's the shunt, there's the move. Gaiman hits the wall, they both get around, and then Gaiman wrong way, and then just big link on the low side here.
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say, sorry, I gave you a little bit too much of a pause there. The 8th then also just hits there as well, just stuck on the high side and plowed into. Just a big lick. But again, looks at least fixable.
Looks fixable. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess we're reviewing the restart now?
Was going to say that was my big news. Race Control has popped up on the line. There was a restart violation, possibly, or something with the start. It will be reviewed. We're checking it out from our own perspective, but it was piped down from Control that something happened here. Maybe a late move before the line. We're focusing on Reynolds. Gaiman's moving low, but he's not changing lane. Keeping an eye on that 96. Questions on Hall, but yeah, he's moving, but he moved right after the line. It's close, it's a shave, but it's not blatant, so I think Control will let that slide. No penalties have been thrown down, so overall, everyone will keep their spots if they're still running wherever they are.
Restarts will be reviewed for lane changes. It suggests to me that they will review them after the fact and not during the race. No penalties so far, but I think everyone's given them a reminder right now that we don't have that, you have to be on your best behavior because we don't know how many restarts we're going to have. Just reminder of the green, white, checkered rules. The race finish extended. We'll have a restart with 2 laps to go. If the yellow comes out before the white flag, we'll restack them and try again. If the white comes out at any time, the next flag will end the race. And we have unlimited attempts of this, so this could go crazy.
Yeah, it could go crazy. Just to answer your point there, Joe, 2 weeks ago, Yahir did a lane change violation, and it was reviewed on the spot, and they were given a penalty. So penalties can be and will be enforced in certain situations if obviously enough time to play it on the laps. But this is going to get crazy, chaos, and anyone can still win this race as long as they still got a car with all 4 wheels.
Anybody's race still. Anybody's opportunity to walk away with the bald eagle. Who's going to do it? Brandon Proudfoot in charge of the field. This time gets a great jump. 2 to go at the line. Proudfoot now under fire from Height.
Yeah, Height's now in the catbird seat. Hall, though, going to have to try to be on the prowl here as well. As cars fan out here, Height, how aggressive will she be? Proudfoot will block off as we see cars run up the road. Reynolds almost runs the 94 up the road there. 94 played the strategy well. Going to be side by side here off the corner, looking to try to take a top 5 here. Car spin in the back, the 11 of Ellis, and it will have a caution. So Ellis spins. That will be a caution. One of the cars spinning well. It's a 33 at Gaiman. Self-spin from what I saw from my perspective, but we'll take another look here.
Taking a look from the perspective of the restart, this could be a bad indicator of what we're going to see here for the rest of the night. Let's focus on this track and see exactly what happens out here. It looks like it's going to involve the 27. No, check that. That's the 11, I believe. Getting cozy with the 19. The 11 will go crazy. Will go a little wild. Get in front of the 33 of Gaiman, who was up in the lead pack for this. Gaiman will end up getting spun, as well as the 11, and that will bring up caution number 2. And it looks like the Ascent driver was also involved.
Yeah, you'll see the Ascent race, the machine car come up here as Odie tries to avoid it, and just gets piled in there by the 99 of Flores. And that's just going to be a lot of damage for Flores and Odie in that regard. But as we're taking a look here, you'll see what causes. It was just, and remind, we're going back to live, but I'll say what caused it. It was kind of a ping-pong situation with Ellis in the middle between Byron Jones and Selena Thompson. And overall, sometimes it's a rock and a hard play situation, and overall, sometimes you just spin out. So again, if you're at home, get comfortable, because we're going to see a great finish. You do not want to strain, because we're going to have an awesome finish to the line here when we do go green next time by. Proudfoot, Height 1-2, Hall Trout next 2. Question, though, now remains as well. We saw drivers come in. We saw them come in at 67, 68. We are on our second green-white checkered attempt right now. We're at 89, 90, on lap 90 if my counters are at least somewhat decently correct. We're getting close to that fuel economy becoming a question. Maybe not at this restart, but there is a point where that number for those cars like Proudfoot, Height, Hall, Trout, Pendel could be concerned. And look at Tommy Reynolds, came in at 74 under the caution that was the incident with Byron Jones, along with Bobby Blowers. So they have more fuel than this league pack. So if cautions breed cautions, you kind of look at Reynolds and Blowers to be the drivers in the catbird seat.
These drivers came in, or were in the 60s. We're now running lap 88. We'll be lap number 89 when they come to the line, and they'll be restarting around lap 91, as we're going to have at least one more parade lap, at least 2 more parade laps around this track. So yes, even with the low speeds and being able to conserve fuel, at some point you got to start thinking, I may have to come down pit road and try it if I don't want to run dry on the track. Someone's going to run it dry, I guarantee you that. Others, they may try to pull out, and if you're towards the back, you've got nothing to lose. If we have multiple green-white checkers, you have nothing to lose. You may want to try that strategy. Just pull it in, get new tires, get new fuel, and see how far the green-white checkers take you.
Yeah, a few drivers that did that under this stop. Gaiman, Clavitt, Sear, Arnold, Ellis. Some of them are involved in the wreck. Apperson, Denny, and Smeal came in at 84. But I think the car we need to watch, this will be the telltale sign. DeMonte Dodson came in at 62 for their pit lap, and they went earlier than the rest, did not come back in the second time, along with Wygett and the other crew that came in at 74. So Dodson is going to be our litmus test. If they come in, I think you got to start worrying for the other pack that are currently staying out, because then you get to, like, Pendel came in at 64, DJ Trout 64, then you got Proudfoot, Height, Hall 67, 68 respectively, and Constantine 66. So Dodson is the litmus test. The long they stay out on the track, they keep running it, we're fine with Proudfoot, Height, Hall, and the rest. But once that 31 comes in, you're sweating bullets if you're a car that has not come in since the under green flag pit stops.
This is going to be a very, very interesting set of restarts here. Again, the record set by HTL was 5 at this track. So if that's an indicator of what we're seeing, we could be in for a very, very long evening.
Could indeed, but again, I'm keeping the optimism. I think this is not going to break any records here. I think we'll be one and done. At least, hopefully, at the very least. We should get the one to go this time by. Keep an eye on the lights on the pace car. They are out. So we are going green this time by to be Proudfoot, Height, row 1, Trout, Hall, row 2, Pendel, Reynolds, row 3, Constantine, Blowers, row 4, Dotson, Swatsworth, row 5. And overall, Proudfoot still kind of control, but now Height, with slightly fresher tires, out of the 3 drivers we saw come in the latest, with Hall, Height, and Sasek. Sasek, obviously, right now with some damage outside the top 10. Then you got Height and Hall. Height maybe having the freshest tires in that pack of 6 cars. Well, excluding Tommy Reynolds, who came in at 74.
Call me crazy, but I've got a feeling the 3 and the 12 have the advantage here. The 25 obviously taking the high side. He thinks he's got the fastest run up there. But with the 3 and the 12 going low, if these two can hook up, if they can agree to shove each other throughout the track, they may have the best chance to pass. We've seen in the tunnel turn, in turns 1 and 2, these guys have the best run on the inside. So we'll have to see what exactly happens, but I got a feeling the 3 and the 12 could be in a better position than they're giving off.
That, again, you can't bet against Hall with how much he's been on rails. He can easily make this work and make it worth a treat right now. Had a thought there, couldn't remember exactly what it was. Oh, yeah, I'll ask it right now, real fast before we go green. What do you do if you're in a win? If you're a Dustin Hall who hasn't got a win yet, what do you exactly do to get a win? Do you use the bumper if you need to?
I think if it comes down to it, if I'm Dustin Hall, I'm not leaving anything on the track. I think with knowing that the playoffs are looming, I think I have to go for it. And I think, if I get reviewed later, I'll take the penalty. I'll start the end along the line. I'll take a lap. It doesn't matter because I have that win, and now I'm locked in the playoffs.
Yeah, indeed. Pace car is going to pull on off. It's going to be on Proudfoot's control. Green flag is in the air, and away we go for what could be the final time here at Pocono. Good launch by Proudfoot. Proudfoot instantly going to cover off that 3.
Proudfoot blocks the 3 as we go into turn number 1. The 25 still fighting off, and here comes the 12. Dustin Hall will not be denied as he continues to run, fighting with the 93. Side by side makes contact with the 93 that time by. Neither gets into the wall glue. The 96 gets into the wall. We're still running green.
Yeah, that's going to hurt Hall and Trout and the rest of the pack here. They're going to be 3, almost 4 wide, heading off into Corn 2 here. Usually a recipe for disaster, especially with no one willing to lift. Overall, though, they all keep it in the right direction. Pendel spinning, though. Well, Trout going to fall soon to the low line. No caution yet. We stay green. Now there's going to be a caution as Wygett was involved and a few others. We're going to re-rack them and try it again, but that's taking Trout and Pendel out of contention.
Once again, caution flag comes out. That'll be this will make the third attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Let's show you exactly what happened. And right as you said, the center of calamity right there, 3 wide, 4 wide, getting involved there, and with nowhere to go, the two drivers that get up in the wall glue, the 93, who makes a heavy lick into the inside wall after getting around, just barrel rolls back and forth, and that is not the night that he wanted to end. That is not how the 93 wanted to finish this night.
Yeah, not indeed flipping over like that. That is just a painful kind of incident here. Looks like there was a puff of smoke as well, just off corner exit. I wonder exactly if anything else happened or if that was just unrelated. But we're watching right now DJ Trout here, and you're just going to see just two drivers fighting hard. Trout try to get in the throttle just a little bit later. They both go up, plow the wall. They both go low, and Trout just has a vicious ride there. And you can see more smoke as cars avoid it. Wygen gets a little bit loose. Sosi threads the needle, but yeah, that car is basically donezo for Trout. It's never a good sign when you flip and it shoots you right up the open road.
No, and again, that is definitely not what he wanted to happen. That was a tough one for him because he was in contention. He was looking at a top 5 finish, if nothing else. But, all it takes is one mistake. All it takes is one a miscue, and the next thing you know, you are doing a double barrel roll down the stretch, and bringing out the caution flag.
Look at Lilacs here, going to go high, just makes it by. The car behind was not so lucky, but good ones to see it. There's the puff of smoke I was talking about, but it looks like it may have just been some of the calamity after the incident. Nothing of note to report. Back to live action. Here's Blake Henderson and Caitlin Height, and here's something to note. Look at the pit lane right now. DeMonte Dodson, I said, was the litmus test, coming in right now. They'll be joined by Bobby Blowers and a few other cars in the back. Kevin Gibney as well. Some of the incidents involved in the wreck. And like I said, Dodson came in at 62. This is the point where Dodson can't make it. We're about 5 away from when Proudfoot, Height, Hall pitted, and about 3 to 4 away from when Constantino pitted. One more thing I want to point out. I'm going to knock on wood real fast just so I don't get some angry letters. Look where William Britton currently is running.
You can address those angry letters to Kevin Young, care of ABN1.
Yeah, ABN1 indeed. Send it to my mail. Don't worry. When you send me hate mail in the winter, it goes to my furnace, so it keeps me nice and warm at night. But overall, though, Britton having a great run to make the strategy work right now. Currently P5. If you do recall, he came in the latest out of the cars just before the caution came out, and right now sitting in a nice P5. But obviously, going to have to hang on to that. We'll see if they can. And again, being the drivers that are in that alt strategy situation along with Reynolds, if we get another caution, you can't totally discredit those drivers making it work. As we get another caution, the fuel concerns for Proudfoot, Height, Hall play up, and that could promote Reynolds and Britton to the lead.
It definitely could. Now is the time we start worrying about fuel. If they don't get it straightened out this time by, we are going to have problems for somebody, and it's going to shake up the entire running order. You may end up finding yourself running way back there, which is going to create some problems, because you could have had a great run. Now you're going to be saying what could have been, what if, which is not what you want to say. So I think this time, this is going to be the quintessential restart right here. If they get it figured out here, if they can get a clean restart and get to the white flag, then we'll have a race of the best. If not, then we will have a race, but it'll be a race that'll be decided by pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be, and then crews play it, and then that. You do not want to have to rely on your pit crew here for a strategy or a strategy going wrong if you can. And if you're Proudfoot, Height, Reynolds, Proudfoot and Height, you are hoping that this stays green to the finish here. So as they come across the line, we officially gotten the 1 to go. It's going to be Proudfoot and Height, row 1. Then it's going to be Hall, Reynolds, row 2. Constantino, Britton, row 3. Roberg and Swatsworth, row 4. Braille and Sasick, your first 5 rows. Hall now given a second chance, going to be on the low side of 2 instead of the high side of row 2. Maybe going to be a lunging opportunity if an opportunity opens up. But Proudfoot was controlling the lines on the last restart. Question is, did Height learn anything maybe she can use to try to upset that 25?
Who I'm going to be watching is that 96 Toyota of Tommy Reynolds. He's been battered, bruised, beaten all race long, but look where he's at. Look where he's at now. He's now up in position number 3, and he's got a big chance to walk away with some big points out here. So him and Constantino, both of them have a great chance to walk away with some major points, especially if these front 3 can't get it figured out. I am really excited to see what happens next.
Oh, this is going to be fun here. Hope we can keep it green to the line. This is going to be interesting to play out. Strategies fuel, maybe some drivers running out. You never know how this is going to play, and some drivers ready to capitalize and really shake up these playoffs. And look how high 25 is running here at the moment. Not really saving, but just a very odd line to take through coming up to the tunnel turn right now. But again, Joe, you asked me this question many laps ago. Are you still taking Hall here to maybe get this race win?
Now that he's up to position number 3, now that he's behind Caitlin Hyde, who has a very fast car, I'm still putting my money on 12. I'm still putting my money on 12 Black. I think there's a great opportunity for him to prove that he is the best car out here and walk away with a big win.
I think overall question is he black or red on a roulette table? We'll find that out in due time. Overall, though, we're coming to the restart zone here. It's going to be on Proudfoot's control. Green flag is out. Away we go. Good launch by Reynolds as well with Proudfoot. Proudfoot's going to have Reynolds going to have a chance to challenge for 2, but Proudfoot, big gap here to play off into 1.
Proudfoot gets a great jump coming off of going under turn number 1, I should say. Caitlin Height now under the 96 of Reynolds, and the 12 trying to figure out who he wants to work with. Where is he going to go? Right now he's tracking behind the 96. Maybe he's trying to dispatch the 3. We'll see what happens as they go into turn number 3s.
Yeah, overall, I'm seeing 3 wide in the distance there between Withers, Braille, and a few others. Keeping an eye on that. They're getting close to touching, but they keep it all pointing the right direction. But right there, you can see cars fanning out. Some going low. Constantinu with Swansworth on the low side there. That's going to be the caution. We're going to have to re-rack them and do it again. Proudfoot, Reynolds, still 1-2, but Reynolds now up 1 extra spot here to really make a challenge.
So that incident... So that now takes it to our 4th attempt at green-white checkered as we see what happened between the 57 and 35. It looks like the 57 just may have... No, the 57 got bodied by the 18. It starts with the 35, who runs her up the track a little bit, forces her to run a little bit higher line than she's comfortable with. The 18 then, as you see right there behind the 57, the 18 is going to ultimately come up and just body her into the wall. Again, with another hockey euphemism, he just checks her straight into the wall, and that puts both of them out of contention for this race. So 2 cars involved, and yeah, that's easily a 4-minute double penalty for roughing.
Yeah, that's an aggressive strategy by Swansworth there. Like, usually you can admire the determination, but that's back in P12, P11. Maybe just the driver having a bad day, just going for an aggressive move there, but you got to have at least some smarts here in that situation. Don't want to take away from Swansworth. Strong driver, great person, but yeah, just a bad call there to make that move. But now, we set the field again here. It's going to be Proudfoot Reynolds. Again, fuel concerns. I keep saying it. I'm probably beating a dead horse, sounding like a broken record. Use the idiom you want to describe what I'm saying, but this concern is raging more and more and more, and we'll see if Proudfoot, Hall, or Height have to blink or pit in, and this, again, opens the door if they have to pit or run out for Reynolds, who's now in second with fresher tires than Proudfoot, because he came in about 5-6 laps later. So Reynolds, I'm saying right now, is in the catbird seat.
Reynolds, I think, is in the catbird seat. I agree with you with that statement. I also think that now we're going to have to start figuring out when do you want to come down pit road and how do you want to do it if I have to. We also are getting up towards the record. The record is 5 restarts. So once we get past the 5th restart here, we're in completely different territory. We're in brand new territory. No precedent has been set. And I think that's going to create a lot of strategy. And I think if that happens, then my bet on 12 is done.
Yeah, this is going to be... It's going to be interesting. That's why you got to go to the field sometimes. You can't... It's odd sometimes. You look at it, but sometimes you can't go against 37 cars coming in tonight. One will eventually find a way through, but again, Dustin Hall willing to prove it away. I'm kind of curious here as well. Obviously, we have the statistics in the chat. We know the record for green-white checkers came at Pocono. I'm generally curious to see what that number was. I don't know it offhand. I don't know if Joe does either. It's 5? It's 5. So we're at 3 right now. We're on pace.
Restart 4.
Yeah, restart 4. So there is a chance we hit 5. Again, I'm optimistic we won't break it. I feel good. I feel confident. But overall, though, for the drivers up front, they're not hoping we break that.
Hopeful we won't break that, but again, you know, if we do go past 5, we're in uncharted territory, and the biggest question is who's going to have to come down pit road. They've accommodated for some of these, and we know they've conserved fuel under these, but now I'm looking at the 12. Is he going to have to come down pit road if we have another caution? Is the 3 going to have to come down pit road if we have a caution? I know the 96 probably will, and the 25 is another outlier as well. I've got a feeling that, again, if we go to another green, white, checkered attempt, this race will be determined by who had the better pit strategy, and pit road will determine who wins the race.
Yeah, pit lane could play a big factor in this and play the strategies in that point. One thing I'm looking at the chat though, Blake obviously was not here tonight. Obviously, it's 25 is currently being driven by Proudfoot. In the chat right now, sounding off, he's at least having a fun time wherever he is right now, as he is seems to be enjoying himself in our chat right now. So good for at least Proudfoot having some, not Proudfoot, Blake Henderson having some fun in there, and in turn, enjoying seeing his car right now taking the lead and currently leading this race. Looks like we're getting bunched up here. I believe the lights are out on the pace car, so we should be getting the green next time by. Again, unlimited attempts just in case you are tuning in late. So overall, to be Proudfoot Reynolds row 1, Height Hall row 2, Britton Roberg row 3, Withers Sassick row 4, Sosi Jones your first 5 rows. And now the question remains, we saw Height kind of not get the best restart on that inside line. Can Reynolds do any better?
Highline seems to have the advantage at the restart, which is why you see the 25 continuing to run up there. Proudfoot has been strong every single restart. But what will happen when the 3's now behind him and the 12, who's been dominant all race long, restarts on the low side? We'll find out here in just a minute, but this could be the restart that determines the rest of the race.
Yeah. It easily could. I wish I had more to say, but we kind of run out of talking points a little bit here. Just kind of spinning the points, but this could easily be the restart that controls all restarts if we go to the white flag this time.
If we go to the white flag, one of these 6 drivers up front will have a chance to win it. If we have another caution flag, pit road will determine who your winner is here at Pocono. One more turn before we let them loose. One more opportunity for Proudfoot, Reynolds, Height, Dustin Hall, William Britton, Martin Roberg. One more opportunity for them to think about what they're doing and what their strategy is going to be going into this next restart. Pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road, this time by, hopefully, for the last time. We'll see the pace car out there, and Brandon Proudfoot will be in charge. He needs to get the jump. Will he get it? Green flag about to fly. Green flag flies. Proudfoot does not get the jump that he wants. Instead, he's going to get a little bit of shot from the 3. Now the 25 and 3 up front, 96 and 12 threatening down low.
You can see that stack up on the low line where all the cars are basically pushing to try to make something happen. Some cars being on the prowl, like Byron Jones in the far shot there, trying to make low line work. Blake had the Proudfoot going to cover down here in front of Reynolds. Reynolds will keep second. Height there in third. It's going to be a bit of a train. Height going to go high here to try to split Reynolds. Only thing you worry about is if Height battles Reynolds, that could allow Proudfoot to drive away here, but you got to at least give yourselves a fighting chance as they enter into 2.
Into 2, Proudfoot continues to lead as Reynolds and Height side by side. Height gets a little shot from the 96 in the short shoot. Now the 3 gets spun around. 3 will spin around in front of the field. Solo spin. No damage to the 3, but that could end her night up front. Caution is out.
Yeah, that's a caution. 3 didn't look like got much damage. 96 has a torn front end and there'll be some major damage. So we'll see what the 96 can do. And again, concerns on fuel is raging up again. This is green, white, checkered attempt 4 just finished. We're now starting 5. We get another one, we officially break the record. But let's not hope that happens, at least for all our sanities. So overall, though, now the question is, what Proudfoot can do for fuel? What can Reynolds now with damage? He was on the seat. If we stayed, got into the caution, could have been on the catbird seat. Now with that damage, how is that thing going to drive? And this opens the door for Britton, Roberg, Withers, Sosi. Sosi came in at 80. They all are good to go on the fuel. And what can the strategies work for Proudfoot and Hall right now? They're biding time, just hoping this magical tank can get more fuel out of it.
And whatever Blake Henderson had tonight, I'm ready for a little bit of that right now, let me tell you. Whatever he's having, I am definitely in need of some of that when the cameras go dark. But Brandon Proudfoot still continues to lead. He seems to have mastered the restart. The question we don't know is, does he have enough in the tank? Does he have enough overall to continue to make the second lap work for him? Now, 96 also a big question mark too, because the 96 took an extensive amount of damage on that front end when everything happens. So the 96 could be in trouble here when we go back to green flag racing. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens to the 96 if the 96 is able to continue. All plays in favor, though, of the 12 of Dustin Hall, who may or may not have to come down pit road this time by. Reynolds comes down pit road, but not for fuel, not for tires, to fix that damage in front of him and try to survive.
Jones, Pendell, Thompson, Sasek, Smeal, Apperson, all in as well. Some of them were on different strategies. Looks like they want tires and economy to get better if they have a set saved. So, again, we see a car get their lap back, by the way, as well. So, overall, Proudfoot, Hall, 1-2. Yeah, they're 1-2 right now. They're going to be 1-2. Hall back in the seat where he can make something happen. Britton in third, Roberg in fourth. And then you got the fresh tires of Wygant, who, again, came in at 92. Got a fresh set of tires and maybe fixed up some of that damage. Sitting in ninth. Could be capitalizing if we get more and more cautions.
The Dustin Hall, my bet may still pay off after all. But again, so we're going to hit the breaking point. We're going to hit the breaking point, and it'll definitely come if we hit this next green flag pits, if we hit this next green-white checkered. If we have another green-white checkered, pit row will decide who wins this race. And I've got a feeling the 12 may not do it. The 12 may not have enough in him to do it. I don't think he's got the tires, at least. He may have the fuel if we have one more attempt, but he probably doesn't have the fuel. And I've got a feeling the 12, it's now or never for the 12. He's got to win. He's got to get in front. He's got to win this time around.
Yeah, he's got to make something happen. He's got to be in the prod. We saw the cars on the restart, but we looked at the last restart. Proudfoot didn't get going. Reynolds had a chance, and even then, still couldn't make the lunge into one. He needed to do something. So even if you get the restart, you basically have to beat him to the line and try to do whatever you can, but Hall just has to keep himself in a good spot to make something happen. Also, while we got the time, looking in the chat right now, I love how Henderson says he loves you, but he doesn't show any love to me. I've been here just as much. It'd be nice if you showed me a little bit of love.
You've honestly been here more than I have. You technically have like 3 more races than I do with HTL.
And also not including my work in the truck series. So, I mean, overall, I know you're responding in the chat. I'm not. So, overall, that's just him responding to you in the chat. But still, it's nice to see some love thrown my way. And maybe Kristina as well, because she's been doing a lot of good producing for this series over the years. Yep, there goes Blake in the chat, too. So, overall, we still got another lap of pacing. Actually, no, we don't. That pace lights are now out. So, it's going to be Hall, Proudfoot, row 1, Britton, Roberg, row 2, Sosi Withers, row 3, Wygant, Braille, row 4, Blowers, Gaiman, your first 5 rows.
Kevin, with all the crews I've worked, I'll put it this way, with all the crews I've worked with the Coke Series, with the OCRP Series, and now with HTL, you guys are the most fun I've had with the crew.
Oh,
so take that for what you will, you know. But you guys, even doing the Coke Series, which is a pinnacle of iRacing, you guys are still the most fun crew we've ever had. And HTL, they're okay too, I guess.
Hey, I'll take that praise wherever I can get it. It's always a fun. So we should go green this time by. Very fun to be week in and week out in this booth, and definitely we got another half of the season. Should be quite fun to keep that fun nice and going. But the drivers looking to have fun here tonight is still raging on, as again, Cinderella stories could be shaking up in the second half of this field here, with some drivers again burst the bubbles, break the bracket. It's not March, but we may see an upset of March proportions like March Madness if one of these drivers find victory lane like Roberg, Hall, Withers, Braille, Gaiman, Britton as well. I said Britton, but Britton's the shocking one here. It's going to be fun.
I get it. It's going to be fun. Let's just leave it at that. It's going to be fun. We're going to have fun. Everyone's going to have fun this time. And I mean it. No angry faces, no sad faces. We're all going to have fun.
Fun.
Whether you like it or not.
Mandatory fun.
Mandatory fun for everybody. Pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. Dustin Hall, Brandon Proudfoot side by side in the restart zone. Proudfoot gets a great jump. We're back to green flag racing.
We are indeed good launch by Proudfoot. Hall thinking about what to do. He's going to slot high here. Knows he can't really get the run off. Battle for third between Roberg and Britton as they'll be side by side heading off into the corner. Britton clips the apron though, drifting up the road, not going to run Roberg off. And Sosi on some fresh tires, going to split it, make it 3 wide. Don't mind Wygant. He's here to crash the party as well as Roberg's trying to block the lanes. But front 2 reigns unchanged. Proudfoot, Hall as they head off in the 2. Sosi trying to make a move on Britton.
Sosi trying to get in some trouble. Now the 64 under fire from the 22. 0 and 81, and the caution is out again.
Braille, Zier, that's number 5. Clavitt piled in by Thompson, and multiple cars given damage. Record is actually 6, not 5. This is going to be the record. Everyone, we broke a record. Confetti, pull the string. Let's have some fun, at least breaking a record. We'll take a look at the replay, exactly what happened, as it was just calamity. We're following Braille here. Remember, just inside the top 10. Holding the line, holding the low side, and you can see right there, already up the road, Britton kind of missed the line there. Sosi splits the difference on his fresher tires there. And then you can see Braille maybe behind Withers, trying to make something happen here. Clavitt thinking about throwing the hole here. We'll see what exactly happens in the tunnel turn here to that 44. I think Clavitt drifts high. Oh, he misses the line. Tips Clavitt, goes sideways, tries to correct it, hits the wall, and nowhere for the 29 and Denny to go as he piles on in quite hard there.
The crazy thing about that incident to me is that isn't even where the worst of the fighting was. That's not even where the worst of the driving was. The worst of the driving was at the between the 35, the 00, the 81, and then the 44, or the 22 and the 64. Those drivers were all making contact throughout the entire turn. Those guys were primed for trouble. And then it's the 44 just being in the wrong place, wrong time, overshooting his braking point. That brings out the caution flag.
Yeah, and then you saw Clavitt there, Zier just kind of getting the touch there, and that was the least spicy part of the battle. You thought there was wreck possibly in one when Britton went up the Roeberg. They kept it clean. Sosi splits the difference, makes it work. All clean, all good. So overall, though, it's still Henderson and Hall, and we may check their virtual crews, but it's all over here.
Proudfoot coming in.
Proudfoot can't make it work anymore. He is in, and you know he's probably just kind of just wondering, what do I got to do to get a green flag run? I was good for 4 green-white checkered attempts, but not a penny more. So he's in. Gaiman's also in as well with a heavy damage car. Constantino in. Hall still trying to make a 68 tank work, but now he's at the mercy of Wygen, who came in at 92. Freshest tires in the pack. Sosi at 80 with some fresh tires. Then you got Blowers and Dodson with fresh rubber, both in 8th and 9th. So if we keep getting cautions, it's going to open the door for the cars with even fresher tires to challenge the cars that came in at 74 now. So the odds keep shifting and the odds keep ranging. The question is, when this merry-go-round stops, who will be the one that it stops on?
I've got a very important breaking news that just got handed to me right here in the ABN newsroom. Austin Mongold has officially run out of Dr. Pepper. I repeat, Austin Mongold has officially run out of Dr. Pepper.
Oh no, it's a national tragedy.
It's certainly an HTL tragedy. Mm-hmm. It is very much an HTL tragedy, considering how much that boy loves his Dr. Pepper.
You're going to remember where you were when ABN was first started, when HTL was first started, and when Austin Mongold ran out of Dr. Pepper. Such a sad day indeed. Hopefully someone gets him a refill soon.
I'm sure there will be at least one refill waiting for him. If not, we'll have to pour one out for the big homie. Mm-hmm. Now, don't pour out Dr. Pepper.
No, he'll be
pour one out in general.
He'll be standing under that if we do that. Yeah, we got to just pour out mystery and drink here.
Maybe a Mr. Pibb, maybe a refreshing Dr. Thunder.
Yeah. Just go to your local store, find the value sodas, and pick out the parody of the great doctor there, and pour one of those out. I don't think
a Fago perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, Zachary Meredith's engine just blew as well. He was heavily damaged, but overall, it's day down for him. F for him too. We could put him behind the wall. And it's kind of sadly poetic. Before we got these green checkers, we were talking about how we had 33 cars still running the field. I don't want to dog on this. I just want to point it out. We had 33 cars still running. We still technically have 28 cars still running. So even with these cautions, it's not taking people out. It's just reshuffling the field, distribution of points in order, as we've now gotten the one to go for another attempt here to green checkered.
I would call this a battle of attrition at this point. This race has become an enduro. Who has the endurance? Who has the heart? Who has whatever it takes to continue to run on this field? And Dustin Hall, so far, my pick to win this race at stage 3, he's been able to manage all of that incredibly well. And like you said, he does not have a win yet. This could be his breakthrough right here. If he gets a win, he's effectively locked into the playoffs at this point. So this is do or die now. This is do or die for him.
Do or die for a lot of drivers. Broberg, Hall, White's already got to win. Sosi already got to win. Britton, do or die. Withers, Blowers, Dotson, Mongol, Jones. All these drivers, some of them are super subs that could find full-time employment in the series if they get a win. So this opens the door for a lot of drivers to shake this up. As we come off a 2 here, it's going to be on Hall's control, but can he make it another 5 miles with how little tank that thing has left? If not, Broberg could be in the seat that pays the big bucks.
Well, not only Broberg, but look who's also around him. We've got Pacey Wygant, who's won a race. We've got Josh Susi, who's won 2 races. And then a lot of other talented drivers behind him who are all looking for their first win tonight. So a very, very hungry pack behind him, all getting ready to do business for 2 more laps. Restart number 6. We're going to try it one more time as Dustin Hall goes into the restart zone. Green flag flies, and that is the jump he has been waiting for all night long. Dustin Hall gets him back in charge of this field. Josh Susi right behind him, and now the battle is for 3rd.
Battle for 3rd indeed right now. Broberg going to have to try to charge back if he wants to make something happen. Sosi going to get clear. Wygant now going to get clear for 3rd. So the 2 fresh tires make something happen. Oh, but one Sosi clips the wall.
81 now trying to get back in sorts, opens the door for the 12. He's exactly where he wants to be. 81 and 64 make contact. 35 and 22 up against the wall. Diving into the turn number 2, out into the short chute. Broberg has the advantage. The 22 now makes contact with the wall. The 81 still in a bad place.
And that will be another caution you can see in the far shot. Byron Jones gets hit. I'm just hearing people laugh in the chat right now. It just caught me off guard. We are going to roll it again. Let's go for number 7.
Chrissy, do we even want to take a look at that incident? I don't think we need it. All you need to know is an incident happened.
Yeah, Byron Jones, Sad Swatswer, a few others. You can just pick names out of a hat. Whoever comes down the pit lane. Lilac's here. Brandon Proudfoot was involved. So Proudfoot obviously came in. And drivers now feeling a bit of frustration on the radio. It's almost just a bit of insanity here. And now, well, Hall, there's no way he makes it to the line here. He can't. Like, there's no way. I don't even know what lap we're over right now. So, looking at the time right now, it's 2:21 left elapsed time. The session was for 3:50, so we're not going to hit the timeout here unless we're here for that point. At that point, we had to shut the stream down if we get that many. But eventually, cars are just going to run out. But overall, Hall, Broberg, 1-2, Blowers, Sosi hitting that wall, cost him some time there. Now the eyes are on the pit lane here again. Does Hall come in? We'll see here how that question gets answered.
Hall has to come in. I don't see any world where he doesn't. I know he's saved so much fuel, so much tire. There's no situation where he doesn't come in.
There's none. Like, he said Ben Fun. Yeah, it's over. The dream is dead. He's in.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
You can't hate it. He tried whatever he could. He was hoping and praying that this thing could stay green, but sadly, wasn't meant to be. He's on in. Broberg following suit, too, which is interesting. I thought he'd have a little bit more fuel economy. That's going to promote Bobby Blowers to the race lead with Joshua Sosi on his outside. So Blowers, Sosi, Wygant, Mongold, Britton going to be your top 5 when it's all said and done.
Well, so long, Space Cowboy. Dustin Hall had an incredible run all night long. He had a big opportunity to walk away with this race, and he was arguably the strongest car out on the field tonight. Brandon Proudfoot has also decided to call it a night. He's just done with everything. He's going to call it a night there. Bianca Constantino telling everybody it's 6 a.m. in Europe. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah. Obviously one of the international drivers definitely feeling that pressure right now. Obviously she's got the win. She could pull off if she wants to. Proudfoot already did. Proudfoot obviously only running part-time entry. Car was pretty total in that incident anyway. So as we follow, because I see Kristina needed a break here too, which I do not blame her. We're following Hall right now, but the leader is Blowers and Sosi 1-2 at the moment. So Blowers, Sosi, if we get another one, I think we're just going to start opening up maybe the local newspaper, books. I don't know. We'll find something to do. but hopefully we'll keep the optimism. This is going to be the last one, or maybe we should be pessimistic. Maybe it's reverse psychology. We want to see more. We want to keep going. Pick your odds. Pick what you're hoping for is going to be the way to do this, and we're going to see it through to the end.
The one thing I can tell you is if we do have another green-white checkered attempt, I do believe we should not open the phone lines for callers, because it's not going to end up being pretty.
So we're going to have going down the pipeline right now. There's a good chance right now, or after this race, we're probably just going to hit the end call button here and just call it a curly night. We'll see if we can get the winner in. We'll kind of do a room check here, but overall, just for the program update, when we do see the finish, it will be just the finish and no final results here. We got the one to go again. Flowers, Sosi going to be row 1 here, and even it looks like Sosi's cutting the engine a little bit, but Sosi should be good on fuel. He came in at 80. But overall, though, it's going to be Flowers, Sosi, Wygett, Mongol, Britton, Dodson, Height, Withers, Ellis, Arnold, your top 10. And looking at some of these pit damage clocks here, the last time came in. Sosi came in last time. It was a 47 clock for him. Flowers, 1:35 on the clock. Mongol, 1 minute 2. Wygett, 56 seconds. So a lot of these cars have been through the ringer up here. No car is going to get through this unscathed.
No, you're going to have damage no matter what. You're definitely going to be having some sort of issue, no matter what happens at this point. All you can hope for is it happens after the next 2 laps. It happens after the next 2 laps, so we can all put this behind us and get ready to go racing at a Suzuki, I believe.
Yes,
Suzuki or Twin Ring?
Suzuki. The bright side is not high chance of cautions at Suzuka other than the stages. So overall, though, we will not be breaking any caution records next week at Suzuka, nay, any green-white checker procedures as well. So, as the pace car is coming down the short chute here, it's going to be on Blauer's control. Look how torn up that Hello Kitty machine is. At least that 22 looks pretty all right for the most part here. So, as the pace car comes off the last corner, it's going to pull on off. The question is, who will pull this out?
That is the $64,000 question, as it were. Green flag about to fly once more here over the rolling hills of Pocono. Out of the turn number 3 they come. The Bobby Blowers leading Josh Susi side by side. Green flag flies, and the 22 gets the jump over the 81. We're back to doing business one more time here at Pocono.
Yeah, indeed, Mond will slot in, cover off Britton for P4 there. Blauer's going to control the lines, control the ways. Battle for second's going to rage on. Whoever gets second could be in the catbird seat on the final lap. Wygett looks clear. Sosi going to try to go over under. Wygett almost runs the wall. Sosi runs under him. Side by side down the stretch for second. Sosi going to take second, but Blauer's beginning to drive away as Mongol's looking to take third as they head off into second.
Into turn number 2, down the short chute they go. The 0-0 under fire from the 91 and the 31. Dotson now wants to get a big jump and try to make some position move. Mike Flowers will not take the white flag this time by as another yellow has come out.
Height hit the wall there. I saw what happened, and it caused the accordion effect that caused that incident. So that is the caution. Looks like it was, just to see who the names are. We'll see.
No, it wasn't actually Height that hit the wall. It was behind her, actually.
Oh, okay, maybe it was. I thought I saw her clip the wall just a bit, but overall it's still caused the effect. But overall, though, yep, caution, another caution. Swatsworth to get his lap back. Looks like it was Reynolds, Thompson, and Zier all involved in that incident.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, maybe the 12 will come back up front after all.
Yeah, he's climbing forward right now. He's currently in 18th. He's making inroads.
New update from Race Control. They have asked the drivers to two new changes. One, they've asked the drivers to cut radio chatter. Radio chatter is now over, and the restart has been changed to single file. There will be no more double file restarts as they go through this. So
yep.
Even the admins are done. Even Race Control is like, we had dinner plans. We were supposed to go and have a nice dinner at this time, Brenda. And what did you do, Brenda? You made me miss my dinner plan.
We're stuck in the office, working late. I have a sandwich in the fridge. My name on it.
Well, yeah, but I had dinner plans.
We both have
With
plans.
Brenda. And Brenda ruined it for me.
Brenda in accounting. Gonna be held accountable here.
Someone's going to be held accountable. That's all I know. Anyway, single file restart. Single file restart. By Blowers should be in control unless he has to come down pit road this time by. Pit road is open. Let's see who comes down. Let's see who comes to the attention of their crew. So far, nobody. No, everyone's good. Everyone's no. The 57 of concept is going to come down, but she may be done for the night. She may just be saying it's 6 a.m. here in Europe. I'm done. Have a great night, everybody. Everyone else still. Oh, everyone else but Richard Odie. Richard Odie's also coming to the attention of his crew. So is Christopher Pendel. So some drivers are doing it, but you know.
Yeah.
I think everyone now at this point, whatever they have, they're going to run with.
Yeah, you're just going to run it to the end, and with single file restarts, it should be at least a little bit more manageable to kind of get this thing under control. Obviously, just want to say again, thank you for everyone still sticking it out here on ABN1 for the HTL Pennsylvania 350. My name's Kevin Young. Joe Cortez to my left. Kristina Ryan still sticking it out as well, doing all the production. We're all just trying to make it through the end of this thing. 15 cautions on the night, and again, thank you for tuning in and keeping this thing afloat.
Are we? This is our 7th or 8th attempt? 8th attempt.
8th attempt. So 7 already done. 8th attempt now. It's a record. We smashed it. We're 3 clear. I mean, there's even talks we had more laps under this green-white checkered than we've had in stage 1. Because remember, 8, 7, well clear. 30-plus laps. We're almost going to break stage 2, too. This is fun.
Lap 113. Right now, By Blowers, who's your leader, is scoring lap 113 out here on a race that was only supposed to run 87 laps. And another fun fact: the entire race was set to run. The entire session was set to run 3 hours 50 minutes. We are now almost an hour away from closing that down. Or 2 hours away from closing that down. We are now at the 2:30 minute time.
Yeah, 2:30, 3:50. We got an hour 20.
Yeah.
2 laps to go for over an hour right now. This is fun. I'm having fun right now. So we should. Pace lights out. Yes, they are. We're no double file restart. Everyone going to line up in a single file line. Flowers, Sosi, Mongol, Wygent, Dotson, Height, Britton, Withers, Ellis, Arnold. Your top 10. And we'll just keep going down the order here because we got a long pace lap here. We got Sasek, Spiel, Gibney, Gaiman, Roberg, Denny, Hall, Clavitt, Apperson, Zier, Reynolds, Constantinu, Odie, Pennell, and Swatsworth. All 25 cars on the lead lap, all still in contention for a chance to win this thing.
Everybody still in contention at this time. But now it's going to be at least a single file, so we should have a cleaner... we should have a cleaner race. We should have a cleaner opportunity to finish this off, and we could even have a super sub go to victory lane. We don't know.
Yeah, we could. Ramp Blowers, he's a super sub, has a chance to pull this off. Other than that, looking at the top 10, no one else is really super subs in that list. Ellis is technically is. They are currently sitting in 9th. Got full-time entries. Mongold again. How much Dr. Pepper he's probably drank? First of all, he probably needs a bathroom break somewhere in between this, but secondly, it's going to be a big one as well overall to see how this all plays. Blowers going to have control of the restart. Should be in favor to kind of get a good launch here, but you can see Sosi, Mongol, they're going to try to charge through as well and get a good run at this as well. Can Blowers hold the charge? Can he make something happen? Don't even know if this is the first in HTL to have a single file restart on a oval, but hey, first time for everything, I suppose.
Bobby Blowers will lead them to the green flag in a single file restart this time around. Through turn number 3 we go for hopefully the second to last time. Bobby Blowers, the super sub, filling in that 22 machine. Can he walk away with a steal? Dare I say steal a win in the 22 occupied usually by Gary Dodson. Green flag flies, and they were really irritated behind him. They gave a shove to the 22, the 18, the 91, 81, 91 did. Five Blowers now goes low, goes back up high, into turns 1 and 2, scrapes the wall, and we got a fight up front.
Trying to make that car as wide as he can right there. You saw the stack up happen as they go off into the tunnel turn right now. Height trying to make moves a little bit further back. Going to make it 3 wide for 5th. And they have spun in the back. Height, Britton, Dotson. Do it again. Re-rack it. Let's go again.
You know what? No. We're not doing this again. You know what? No.
Here's the replay to see what happened. A little bit further back, it's also 33, the 1, and the 29. And here's the incident. Height trying to split the middle here. And Britton kind of came up a little bit. They all touch and ping pong effect. And all around they go. 3, probably day done. Britton still continuing. Dotson heavy damage. And oh! Gibney got shot out of a cannon there. And he's going to hit that wall very unprotected. That was very iRacing physicsy if you've ever seen one. So another green-white checkered. That's 8. We're on the 9. Let's see if we can hit double digits.
Why not at this point? Why not? My dinner plans have been shot. Your sandwich is gone. Let's just go 10. Let's go 11. Why not? What?
Yeah, let's see how far we can go.
I got nothing to do. It's 11, 14, 15 here on the East Coast, 8:15 out west. I got nothing to do. I mean, like I said, my dinner plans are done. Let's just see how long we can go, Yeah,
screw it. Let's just have fun and see how we can raise the profile of this league.
What did you have for dinner tonight, Kevin?
I had at least half of a sandwich before we came here. Had another half in the fridge, but now on the note where Sticky Card said did not eat, well, there goes the office sandwich. Someone's already probably devoured that thing for how long we've been here.
Probably. Brenda probably took it.
Yeah, maybe. She's been waiting for that long. She got hungry.
We're now at the magic hour where office rules no longer apply.
No, it's a bloodbath. It's the purge. It's the purge of iRacing.
That is
No
exactly
rules.
what this is. You hit it right on the nose. It is the purge of iRacing. That is exactly what's happening here. That's what's happening on the track. It is, for all intents and purposes, the purge. Who is going to bow out this time around? Kevin Gibney Jr. officially done. Now, as they come down pit road, Five Flowers stays out, Susie stays out, Mongold, Wygent, William, everyone stays out. Eli Sasek is going to be the first one to bow out. I think he's going to be the only one who comes down pit road this time. Yes, nope. He'll be joined by the 12 of Dustin Hall, who's going back down pit road.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Thompson. Someone will get the lucky dog here. We'll see who it is. I think it's Selena Thompson. No, it is. She's getting spots. We'll see whoever. Keep an eye on the left side of your screen. You'll see a car blow around. It is Selena Thompson, though, to confirm that. There she goes. Could be now 4 down, so if we keep getting some more caution, she should be back in the lap soon. Hall, Gaiman, Sasek, Wadsworth all in the pit lane. It almost makes you wonder, do they have any fresh tires left? We had, I think, 5 extra sets, depending, so are there any fresh tires left for these drivers to take advantage of? And in turn, look at William Britton. He came in at 75. He's in the same boat now with Dustin Hall and the rest. Does he have the economy to make it? But he's a driver that's going to run it until the tank runs dry.
Plenty of action still coming up Pocono this week. The ABN Champ Car Series will make their return here later on this year. Be sure to check out ABN and our sister station, ABN Esports 2, for all of your all of the fun iRacing excitement you can handle.
Yep. Why don't we just plug some other things here? Tomorrow.
Yeah. What do we got going on this week?
Tomorrow, HTL Cup Series, they're running. That's on a Tuesday. We'll see what exactly. They were at Canada last week. They take a week off from the regular schedule, so they are actually on an off week, so not even running tomorrow. Wednesday, the Champ Car Series comes back to Michigan, catch it on ABN 1. Sunday, the A Squared Cup Series, they're running at the High Banks Daytona, where they will be running for the chase elimination, where we'll see who makes the field for the playoffs. Catch it on ABN 2 on Sunday. And Winstell returns on ABN 1 as well on Sunday to see that. I think that's you and Carmen in the booth for that one.
Assuming Carmen survives tonight, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Carmen is just having the time of her life here, watching her broadcasters go ham.
Hey, we're having fun, at least trying to make the best of it. Also, you can follow ABN_studios for ABN news and all that. HTL has it as well. Check all the other socials. Joe, you want to throw out your social out here? Do you want to plug your socials?
Find me on X at Joe Cortez Show. Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Joe Cortez Show. Kevin, where can we find you?
At PepsiFreak212, you can catch me on X as well for that. Love to get the follow. It's always fun to have this out there. Yeah, I think ASMR_Chrissy for her, our production team, and at, I don't know what everyone else is. But those are the main ones for the people in the booth right now.
I think I'm following you on X.
You are, and I'm following you as well.
See, the love is mutual.
Yeah. So we got the one to go. It's going to be another single file restart. Blower is going to be row 1. Oh, yeah. It's AMR_Chrissy on X, Insta, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you for the correction there. She put it in the nice little chat for us. So that's where you can follow our producer as well. AMR_Chrissy as well. So
yeah,
Blowers. Oh, go ahead.
I've known Chrissy for a while now. She is not the ASMR kind.
Yeah.
AMR, yes. ASMR, no.
Well, you learn something new every day. She's done multiple ASMR. So yeah, follow us all on social medias for having fun here and doing this, randomly this broadcast.